Warning. It is the opinion of the 4th Street Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Jdub, Justin Richardson, Captain Jerkbeard, Tom Lavelle, and the man, the myth, the ginger coxman, Brad Richardson. You can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can have us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com, and please like and subscribe so the world doesn't crumble around me. Jdub, are you ready to get this thing started?
He is.
He is, I is, we is, she is, they is. Let's do this thing. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. Let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's all objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
All right, Jdub, take it away.
Let me tell you. I met this guy in 1988 in
The year of our Lord.
somewhere in the summer. I was
Sure.
chilling, having a
Yeah.
good time alone.
Yeah.
They bring this thing home. The dynamic between brothers is not easy. And the
Nope.
ones that aren't torn apart in childhood and aren't separated by just life itself are the special ones. You know?
Yeah.
You don't always get a brotherhood into the late years, and it's a beautiful thing when you rekindle from, punching each other in the face numerous times.
Yeah. There is there is that point that you reach where it's like, this was my worst enemy that is now like the person I trust the most.
He is the human being I have fought the most.
Yeah.
It's the most punches landed and blown. Like if you bring up the card at the end of the time, it'll be
Yeah.
But yeah, I am proud of this kid. I love this kid. I look up to this kid. I worry about this fucking kid.
Sure.
He is a big dumb ape, but he is my big dumb ape.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that, And I mean, my experience with him, I'll tell you, I'll say, and we'll talk about it more. I don't think me and Brad got off on the best foot, but then one day it just clicked and we fell in love, and we've been in love ever since. And it's been a great ride. Tell you, this guy, great ride, but
especially for people who in our lives, especially with the gray demographic of, we hang out with older people. A lot of our neighborhoods are very fluent, and people don't know that we're brothers. We don't look that much alike. I am tall with black hair and he is short with red hair. So we're in he's in 7th grade, I'm in 9th grade. We get in a fight at breakfast one morning.
Okay.
Full blown in the hallway. He steals my apple juice, and the security guard pulls us apart. I go to the disciplinarian.
This is at school.
This is at Pembroke.
Oh, okay.
At 7:30 in the morning. We got to get there early.
Yeah.
And
school breakfast. Shout out. Fan of the show. Listen to the show. Dude, the sausage, egg, and cheese on an English muffin with a hash brown and a fucking AJ. Forget it.
Apple juice had the good sugar content to it. Get you going for your day.
Yeah.
He just took it like I wasn't going to drink it. It was bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
And so I walk into the office. The disciplinarian she likes me. I've been there numerous times.
Right.
She is visibly upset. And I'm like, what's up? She's like, I have to expel you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you beat up a 7th grader this morning. Like, you're going to get kicked out of school. And I'm like, it's my brother. And she's like, wait, what? And I was like, that's my little brother. And she's like, I literally thought you both had the same last name. She picks up her phone. She hands it to me. She goes, call your mother. And I beat up Brad. My mom goes, okay, why are you calling me? And I'm just like, I don't know. She told me to. And I handed her the phone back. And she's like, sorry. And like hangs up. And she's like, don't beat up your brother. Yeah. Please get out of the room.
Yeah. Did you respond with, hey, hands off my apple juice then? Right? Tell this kid to stop swiping AJ's and we'll be okay. You know? Yeah. So you guys all know my younger brother, Alex, former guest of the show, friend of the show. And me and Tom used to beat him so bad that his ears would bleed. And he fucking deserved every beating he fucking got. I'll tell you that. Anyone that knows Alex knows I'm telling the fucking truth. All right. But yeah,
like 90%.
I would say
I'm not gonna lie. I took a little teenage angst out on the kid.
Sure.
Agreed. But 90% of them were very well deserved. I was well in my means.
Right.
I never broke any veto.
Yeah. No, and plus too, you've also been on the other end, the receiving end, right? My sister was 13 when I was 9. That's a big age gap for kids, especially because girls develop before boys. So she was already like becoming like a young adult. She took a blanket, put it over my head, grabbed me by the back of the head and slammed my face into a pillar in our basement. Right. And for those of you listening, you won't be able to see this, but that's why my nose does this. Right. And it's been doing this for a long time. So yeah, old Uncle Matty's got a crooked nose. Thanks to my fucking loving sister.
We put him inside a sleeping bag one day. He was being mouthy, We stuck him inside of his Jurassic Park sleeping bag, zipped it up, duct taped the top of it, and then just 1, 2, 3'd it down the stairs. And like in that moment, once I let go, like reality set in of like what we had just done. I was like, he's dead.
Yeah.
I killed him. He's dead inside a sleeping bag, and we just have to bury the sleeping bag.
Yeah. So yeah, of course he's fine. You know what we used to do? Shout out Dr. Jeff Hartman, fan of the show, listener of the show, great dude. We used to like put sleeping bags on the stairs at his house, right? Like straighten them out and put them there like pads, and we could hook them on like the railings so they would stay in place. Then we would get pillows and we would ride down the sleeping bags because they're like the nylon on the outside.
Yeah.
We would ride down them on the stairs on the pillow, and it was fucking time, babe. It was a time.
That's good.
Yeah, a little hurt, little bruise on the tush, but it was fucking worth it, dude. We were flying down those stairs, nailing the front door. It was great. So yeah, so we've talked about this guy enough. Let me tell you something, and I'll scream it and I'll yell it and I'll talk about from the fucking rooftops. We grade this show by the caliber of guests that we have on it. And I'll tell you, man, we're just fucking hitting dinger after dinger after dinger when it comes to the great guests on this show. So when Brad said he's a listener of the show, he's already been a guest on the show with the End of Roundtable Part 3, The Next Generation. Then when he decided to come on, I was super happy to have him here. So Brad, thanks for coming on. And before we get started, I would just like to ask, how do you like your Cheetos? Crunchy or puffed?
Okay, so I have listened to this question, and I do believe you are unfairly discriminating against Justin, because the term Cheeto encapsulates all cheese snacks. You don't call a hot tub a jacuzzi, it's the same thing. A Band-Aid is an adhesive strip. A Cheeto is all doodle snacks. Now, the answer for Cheetos is crunchy.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with a puffed cheese snack.
I'm not saying do agree there's anything wrong with
that
it.
A giant...
Go ahead.
For Cheetos, it's crunchy.
Yeah. No, and what were you saying?
You're beating them up.
Nobody. I'm the only person.
I mean, our stepdad would bring like the Costco size like barrel of cheese balls.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
No, dude, I'll tell you this. I don't have anything against the puff, right? I don't have anything against the puff ball or doodle. Nothing against them, right? but in comparison, there is no comparison. Crunch is always better, right? And Justin there's only ever been one person to say puffed on this show. One person.
And I've only ever invited one person on this show, and he said puff as well.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Hadfield.
Yeah. Friend of the show, former guest of the show, former co-host of the show, Mickey Batts, Mike Hatfield. Yeah. So either way. So yeah, crunchy all the way. We do have to think of a new question because I don't know, Justin. It's just
I'm the only puff boy.
Well, we have to find something that we disagree on, like vehemently, right? Like when I mean,
we do on this. We are separated on this. It just turns out everyone else is on your side.
True. But this isn't. I don't think the world is really like when we were talking about the Bohemian Rhapsody before, right? Like it was adamant that either Shake or Pete would all like they love the movie. Right. And it's a garbage fucking shit movie, but you're indifferent about that. I would like to think maybe we could find exactly. You're not passionate about the puff. You're not passionate about the ball, right? You're passionate. I mean, in a way, not as passionate. Like it doesn't, it
turns out with these numbers, it looks like I am passionate because I am the lone man on the hill for puffs.
Sure. You're riding the puff dragon all the way.
I mean, we have to find at least two more people that prefer the puff.
I mean, we can still ask the puff question, but I think we should come up with another one something that we disagree on, but we'd have to, we have to just discover what it is. I don't know. Maybe
we find out you hate Indiana Jones or something.
That's just never.
Nobody does.
Never, ever. If you do, then go back to fucking communist China because we don't fucking want you.
Go right back to Germany.
Yeah, you fucking North Korean piece of shit. All right. If you don't like Indiana Jones, get the fuck out of here. All right. Yeah, but it has to be something along those lines, something just outrageous. But topic for another time. I mean, I don't like iced tea.
Like the actual drink or the wrapper?
The drink, the wrapper.
You like tea?
No, I mean I'll do a hot tea.
You drink coffee?
I do coffee. Do espresso.
Tea is 1,000 times better than coffee. Everyone else can eat my ass.
Have you had Have you had Turkish coffee?
Is that where they you like boil it and then the water comes up and you wait 10 seconds and you boil it again and it comes up?
I believe that's a French press. Yeah.
I don't know shit about coffee. Dude, I can't handle it.
French press will give you a fucking anxiety attack. That shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? But Turkish coffee, that stuff puts pep in your step and your ass in the John, baby. Let me tell you. So nice. Well, young Bradley, thanks for coming back on the show. Like we said, you've been on the show previously when we did the Jdub Saga Roundtable series. You were on part 3, The Next Generation. You had a great showing. You told a story about when you committed or were you convicted of arson and, all that fun stuff. All right. So we got a lot of shit to go over, and I want to start from where we start, and that's the beginning. So like we said before, old young Bradley was born and raised in the dirtiest of dubs, Jdub, North Willie, North Wellington, North Kakalaki, North Wales, aka Jdub.
He's 100%er, aren't you? You came straight from the hospital to North Wales. Yeah,
that's right.
Really? You too, Justin? You guys are both 100%ers?
I was technically born in Abington and lived in Abington for 6 months and then came to North Wales. Brad's a full bred.
Wow.
Pure breed.
Man, there can't be too many of those, right?
No, there's some. A lot of the youngers, you know what I mean? The elders get brought in and the youngers get born in.
Yeah.
I was surprised by how many North Wales guys didn't actually grow up in North Wales.
Yeah.
From listening back to this, I was like, oh shit. I think
like Zeblum moved in and and then Steve
even
was
Liam.
There. Liam too. Yeah.
Even Liam, like that one surprised me. The Zeblums I remember when they moved in.
Yeah, if you would have asked me, I'd be like, Liam has always been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. He was one of the old heads, but and soon to be on the show. So nice. So let's keep it moving. So you're born and raised in North Willie. You went to North Wales Elementary. You did public school K through 12, right? So I want to go over this. So you started playing sports at a young age. Soccer was your jam coming up, right? So you played soccer as a young fella. How did you like it?
I had fun with it. I did enjoy it a lot, but my heart was never in the game.
Yeah, sure.
I was distracted by other things. Basically, like I'd have fun playing, but I'd lose interest and just start like chasing the cute girl who wore number 8. I can still remember to this day.
Yeah.
I remember every game, Dad would be like, "Yo, you started off great. You're focusing, you're hustling, and then all of a sudden you're just running after number 8, and that's really all I cared about in that game."
Yeah, yeah.
And then a couple years in the MSA. That was fun. The Montgomery Soccer Association.
I was in the MSA.
It was a great time to grow up.
I was a Mustang. I was a Mustang.
That's right.
Go
That's
Mustangs. Right. So
yeah, man.
Yeah. No, the MSA was nice. Yeah. And I think we've all, you know, spent half of a soccer game chasing around the ponytails as a kid. You know what I'm saying? You know,
that's right.
I mean, honestly, we're really foreshadowing your later life as well. So, so then you would get into middle school. Did you do any sports in middle school?
No, none of that.
No,
I wasn't. And so the problem with being the younger brother of Justin and growing up in like the greater North Wales area is when you're around such athletic and talented people. Yeah. If you are mediocre to mildly talented, that just gets stuffed right down.
Yeah.
So
no
like,
cares.
For example, I would play Justin, my dad and I would shoot darts all the time. And I'd be like, why are we even playing this game? Because like it's the competition level between those two and me was so separate. When I stopped playing with them and went out on my own and started playing, all of a sudden I'm winning games, building confidence. And I'm like, oh shit, I've been good at this the whole time. They're just significantly better.
Unfortunately.
to the average person. Right.
Yeah.
So had I learned that younger in life, I probably would have done more sports, but didn't pick it up in time.
You got Gretzky'd. You know what I mean? You got Gretzky'd. What are you going to do? Right.
I mean, on the cricket board, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. So nice. So let's keep moving then. So you went through, like you did middle school in North Wales, but then you would go to Souderton, right? And
that is correct.
Why would you end up going to Souderton when you would move? So we've talked about it before, Justin. You said that like your mom lived in North Wales and then your dad left. And when he left, he became a born again Christian. And then you would move to a couple towns over to this area called Souderton, right? And you would go visit him. And we've told stories about it, like playing war with the kids with the real good guns and all that fun stuff. So, but Brad,
hell yeah, that was fun.
You would eventually go live there, right? And then subsequently, because you live there, you would have to transfer schools, right? So why did you end up living with your dad a couple towns over?
So as previously discussed on the Jdub saga round table, Next Generation.
Yep, available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast.
I had a little fun with my friends. You can listen to that episode for the full story.
Yeah.
But things got a little hot. Things got a little out of hand.
Yeah.
And basically at that age, I was kind of seeing where I was going. And that maybe some people can't handle the fire as well as others. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do well in this environment. And that was definitely like a wake up call enough for me to be like, I think I need to change the scenery.
Yeah.
I think I need to kind of start fresh and like avoid this path that is seemingly looming and certain. That would catch up to me later on in life, but it was a good reset button for me.
Yeah. No, and
probably necessary.
But it's smart that you saw that though. You know what I mean?
It was oddly mature for me.
Right. But like, was there like, I remember I kind of had like a come to Jesus meeting like that as well at times where it's like, I can't keep hanging out with these fucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I like them. They're my boys. I mean, one of them specifically, we were arrested 5 times together. And it's just like, I love them, but it's like, our parents were just like, hey guys, just come on, cut us a break here. Maybe don't hang out so much, you know? And that's just like, that's how stupid shit would happen. You know what I mean? So you were just like, kind of like wanted to avoid that scenario, didn't want to get in any more trouble, kind of had your fill of the bullshit. And you're like, look, I'm going to get a fresh start. I'm going to head over here and, just start my reign as king of Souderton. Is that right?
Yes, more or less. That's exactly how it went.
Nice.
But yeah, so from growing up from dad living there and us going every other weekend and Wednesdays or whatever when it happened, I'd met enough people that it wasn't just like, it wasn't a blind transition into a new school. There's enough people I knew. I had friends out there in the area anyway, so I at least had like some linchpins to go, and just decided for like a different path. And it was great, but it was funny just like with how intense North Penn was. Like walking into Souderton, there were still like obviously like tough guys and intimidating people, but like the entire attitude was like, you're just a bunch of softies. This is going to be easy.
Yeah, you went from like federal penitentiary to county, basically.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, at least I like that's how I like lied to myself and like walked in with enough confidence to be like, all right, I can do all right here. Yeah. And it was a cool enough school, I guess. It's high school and all.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Yeah.
And I guess it turned out all right.
I would say so. I mean, you ended up graduating from there?
Yes, I did.
Very good. Very good. So you graduated high school, right? And when did you start playing music?
It would have been it was when I moved in with my dad. So I had an interest in piano and played that a little bit as a kid, but lessons weren't working. I ended up doing better with that instrument, kind of learning stuff on my own. And drums, I could tell I was just kind of getting a knack for. So I could just feel myself starting to hear it, and then I would just kind of like practice on my knees and with my feet and listen to a song.
Really?
So by the time, completely self-taught. And by the time I bought a kit, I could play it because to me, I don't have like the I can't sing. I can't.
Who can?
I don't have like the musical ear, but it's pretty easy to hear what note is being hit on a drum kit. That's the foot. That's a cymbal. That's a snare drum. These are toms. So to me, it was like something I had like the musical ability, but it was like I can hear what's happening in this instrument. So I just kind of started teaching myself to songs, bands I liked. And, I wasn't good when I got the first kit, but it was enough where it's like, I know what I'm doing here. And like, I can see where to go. And so that was about 15 years old.
When did you get your first kit? 15?
Yeah.
Okay. And your dad let you have a drum kit in the house?
That was like a selling point. He's like, all right, I guess the kid's going to live here. He's not going to be happy about it. And, I kind of wasn't, but he let the kid go. His favorite thing to do, which was so irritating, Justin, his sense of humor on that, is so I'm up there playing, and like anytime dinner's coming up, he would just book it upstairs and like fling the door open and scream. Because I'm in the zone, I'm playing, I'm focusing, and all of a sudden this figure just comes like flying in, and he would just scare the shit out of me every opportunity he could. So,
would you have like headphones on while you're playing or something? Okay, so you're like not even noticing, and he was just like take any opportunity to fucking scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, that man would come in hot.
Sounds fucking hilarious.
He was a big.
He's quick on his feet.
Nimble upstairs.
Well, yeah. Speaking of that, remember the last belt beating we got? That was the most nightmarish. Like, when you fuck up and then like it's too quiet.
Yeah.
So one of our grandparents, I think, maybe like Karen's parents or something, were getting rid of like a full size bed. So when you're growing up on a twin, which is actually like should just be called a single. Yeah. Like when the bed doubles, it's like, yo, this is the biggest bed on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens is we immediately, day one, it's like, all right, we're just going to do stone cold stunners to each other, left and right.
You have a new bed.
We're just practicing.
We have almost a full-size wrestling rink at this point.
Yeah.
We're living like
for our size.
Yeah, for what we're used to, especially at that house. So at the At mom's house, I did have a full-size bed. It was probably the mattress you were conceived on, and I had that. But at dad's house, I would go back to a twin, and I was a tall child. Like I would go back to dad's house on the twin, and my feet would hang off the bottom, and my head would touch the top, and I would lay there at night and be like, I hate it here. but we had bunk beds, and that made it cool because like I did have like a fort. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, the bunk beds were sick for a while, but basically like the energy in it was like, holy shit, we can do this all the time, and it was fun to do the stunner. It was fun to get stunned. Sure. It's like, all right, now do it to me. It's like, all right, now I'm gonna do it to you. And like we're just laughing, having a great time, and then all of a sudden we just hear whack, and we're both kind of like, ooh, we broke the base of it, and that's like we heard the snap of the bed break, and that's when it's like too quiet in the room.
Yeah,
and then we just hear. It's like, oh fuck! You can hear his footsteps as he's coming up the room, and it's
you hear like him ripping the belt off too.
But I saw it, and I was like, oh, he wasn't that much of a showman. It was more about like, let's get this anger out as quick as possible.
Yeah. Jesus wants this anger out right away.
Yeah, you broke the bed. I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Jesus wants it. Yeah, dude, that was bad.
I know.
I remember this. The last one, he like hit us with belts and stuff, and I was older, obviously, then, and I laughed at him, and he beat my back with that belt.
Yeah,
like I laughed at him for hitting me in the butt. And I was like, that doesn't hurt. Can I? Like, you please stop? And he like beat like my lower back with it. I was like, oh, that's terrible. I would like this to stop.
What was the worst?
I learned something that day. I was like, never tell them that it doesn't hurt. Like it does nothing for you.
Yeah.
That's funny because I learned that same lesson, but from mom. So in our house on 3rd Street, we've got these like, you go upstairs, it's a pretty tight hallway. Like it can't be more than 3 feet, like maybe. Like if with the 7 people that lived in the house with 1 bedroom, like you got to like shoulder shimmy to pass each other. You're not getting 2 people side by side of it. And, God knows what I was doing that day. Mom throws a whack out. And this is like the first time I'm like 2 inches taller than her or something.
Yeah.
So like now I'm the big man in the house. Like, what's up? And that's when I just kind of like, she loses it and she just starts kicking me in the shins. I'm walking backwards as she's kicking at my feet, and it's like I'm not gonna hit her, but I'm like, Mom, stop! So I'm literally like prancing backward, trapped in the hallway, as she's just taking shots at my shins, and that shit hurt. And I was like, all right, don't laugh at Mom.
Yeah.
Our same thing. Our bathroom was long and narrow, and Mom would spin her rings so they faced towards you, and she would just swing at you and back you into the bathroom, and you would get stuck against the window, and you'd be like, stop.
Jesus.
And Matt, as a trained fighter yourself, she had no discipline to her style, so there's nothing you could predict. It was a complete whirlwind. So there was no pattern. There was no. It's like you were going to get whacked by it evenally. It was just a matter of time.
I'm
Sometimes
6'1".
That's the most dangerous ones.
I'm 6'1". This is a 5'3" Irish woman just coming at me low. And she's shin kicking. If she gets the back of your tricep with her fingers, she'll just pull on it. She can
pinch. Raise it with her finger, and she'll get the tiniest piece of skin, and it's like, yo.
And she's deceivingly strong for how little she is.
Did she pull hair too?
No, she would never go for hair.
No.
Never ears. Like, so our stepfather, which we'll get to this later, I guess, but he was an ear and finger poke man.
Ooh.
And the finger poke puts a different sense of God in you. When a man can hurt you with his index in your rib cage while yelling at you, you gotta like hold tears back.
It's got the rib cage.
Oh my God,
so
he would bang. He'd get up in the
the sternum, like there. Yeah.
He'd start getting up on you as he's yelling.
My dad was big on the clamp on the back of the neck.
On the
like he would do your whole neck and it would just paralyze you. You're like, all right, we're doing whatever you say. His shit was brutal. But what were you gonna say, Brad?
Mike Bull got me with the finger poke one time, and it was
Mike, your oldest stepbrother.
Oh yes.
Okay.
No,
Our stepfather.
Oh, okay.
Stepfather. Shout out Mike Bull, fan of the show, listener of the show.
Yeah.
So we are up in that same hallway where the shin cakes happened, and
tight quarters.
I just, and Justin will support this gladly, but I never knew when to stop talking. Yeah. I just always wanted to present my case.
You now have a lot
understand why I fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So I'm like mid-speech defending it. Mike pulls out 2 fingers and goes right there. So I'm like, well, you don't get how I go. And it's just like, it's like whacking a dog in the nose with a newspaper. Because like everything in me stopped. I was like, you know, like it reset me. I was confused.
Like,
it kind of hurt, but you just
it would shock you.
And it just, I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're done.
Yeah, I guess you don't need to hear my side of it.
It was a whole different tactic. Our father was a big man who was intimidating. So he would be like, "Arr!" But our stepfather would get very angry, and then he would just shock you. One time he grabbed me by my ear and dragged me up the steps. And I'd never been pulled by my ear before. I was like, oh shit. Like there's no side talking when you're getting pulled by your ear. You get jabbed in your chest.
There's no preparation for it.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
He knew how to mix you up in a way that you were never prepared for.
So I know how to like face, man. They'll get you.
Yeah, it's the Ukrainian blood.
It's good. It's a good variety.
Yeah. Did he use the belt too, or is he all just
no? That was literally the most. That was the most physical he ever got with me.
And he wasn't gonna.
That is the patience of a saint.
Yeah,
that is the patience.
I mean, I'm sure Dave and those guys had a different side of it, right? Like, because they were his actual kids. Right. You guys were steps.
That's
so
right.
You would let your mom do like the heavy lifting and just step in when she needed you, kind of thing.
Yes, he walked those boundaries very well, I think.
Yeah, like that's a good thing though. Go ahead.
He would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'd be the type who'd be like, if you challenge him, he'll fight you in the backyard. Like he wasn't putting a belt on. He was like, oh, you want to we'll fight.
You want to be a fucking man? You want to be a fucking tough guy?
No. With those terrifying bald eagle eyes, like no. You can tell like there's a falcon, there's a predator in those eyes, and it's like, okay, like
there was only one time that I ever challenged them, and my mother stopped.
I remember that,
and I was so I was down because I had thrown the gauntlet down. There's no backing down at that point, but like mom separated, and I just left. And I was
saved your life.
I thought you were dead.
He would have beat the shit out of me. And
how old were you?
I was 16, but he was ready. He'd been waiting.
Yeah.
You might have been younger. I feel like you were
I don't even think I
like 14.
Yeah. Woof. Man.
Broken homes.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna? Well,
some of my fondest memories.
I'll tell you now, as a dad who has to discipline, I don't know, man. Like my dad would use the extension cord and the dog leash and like all that stuff, and it's just
yours is a step up.
I don't know, like I don't know, man. Like I've had to spank my daughter, and it fucking killed me. It absolutely but it needed to fucking happen. She needs to know, like you cannot fucking run in the street. Right. Like this is shit. Like you don't go near the fucking stairs. Like there's no fucking joking here. When I say it in this tone, you need to fucking listen to me. And if I need to smack you on the ass so you fucking realize that, then that's what it fucking like. That's just them's be the fucking breaks. Right. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. But also like we're boys. It's fucking different. Right. Yeah. Like if it's my sister, like my mom would smack my sister and pull her hair and like. That's like whatever. I don't think my dad really never did that to her, but for a boy, it's different. You have to be harder on them. I just think that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like we need it because if they don't, we're just gonna roll all over them. You know what I'm saying? Like we all needed that kind of tough love. Otherwise, it was like because I remember when my dad left and my mom tried to lay down the law. We're like, good fucking luck. You know what I mean? Like she one time had the belt right, and she was like yelling at us and all this stuff. And she's like, I'm fucking livid. And she went like this and hit the bed. And we fucking lost it laughing. Right. And the whole thing ended because it was like, she fucking like hit the bed. And we were like, that was nothing. You know, like it was like she like grazed it. And we were like, Mom, come on. You got to swing a little harder than that. You know? So like, I don't know. There was a point after a while, she knew like, but then we also kind of had to like police ourselves at times too.
Yeah.
Where, you know,
like our mom was a bit, our mom was a bit more of a, like, just like you could respect, like she would, like, if you really did it, she would set off, like, and if you set her off, you're like, you're in the, it became like the, not only am I disappointed, but I also, you made me hit you today.
Yeah. There was eventually points too where like I think my mom wasn't striving for, she was just striving for harmony from everyone. Like, look, you can do this, you can do this. These are some of the rules. Like, don't, if you're,
that's
like,
when we got older. Yeah. She got to that. She's like, I will always love you no matter what you do. But you are doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I will keep showing up to whatever court appearance or to whatever jail cell you need to be picked up from.
Yeah.
But you're dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that actually makes some sense.
Yeah. Now that you put it that way.
When you put it like that, maybe I'll knock it off.
So for those of you listening, we have just been joined by Captain Jerkbeard, aka Tom Lavelle. Tom, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about being late there, fellas.
It's all right. Things happen.
How's it going, Tom?
It's good. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right. Very good.
Now that everybody's here, I didn't know if
I'm glad your mom's beat you like our mom. No,
yes.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I was telling the I'm livid story.
I'm livid.
Tom.
Yeah. I'm livid.
Yeah.
Brad, you look more familiar now that I see you. I'm like, wait a second, I know this guy.
Yeah. we've crossed paths a few times.
A few times, yeah. Right.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But I'm like, that guy is familiar.
Yeah. How can you can't forget the Ginger Coxman. So, all right, so let's keep it going.
The dog leash cracks me up, though. Dog leash is a new weapon. Mom will get us with a barbecue spatula. You
with about the biggest barbecue spatula
I guess that was
you've ever seen in your life. Like a comical one that hung on the wall for decoration. Would hang it on his doorknob and be like, if you come out here, I'm gonna beat your ass with this.
So Justin, if you recall, so Mom would do laundry up in, well, she would do laundry for the house for a while. Justin's bedroom window faced our back porch. Okay. So we had, it was a small deck that maybe go three steps down to like the lawn area. Okay. Justin is sitting on one of these very flimsy plastic,
Rubbermaid
deck furniture.
Yeah, just like
it was a Rubbermaid chair. Yeah.
Patio furniture.
So he and I are out back. We're hanging out on the deck. Everything's fine. And he's just like leaning back on it, just kind of like casually. We're just talking, whatever. And then like all of a sudden, the legs on the back end start skipping down the stairs. So like he's leaning back so far. And now I'm watching him like, no, because I can see him going down the stairs, like about to whack his head. Because it stops on like a concrete pad or concrete pavement before it goes into the lawn. And I'm like, yo. Now, from my mom's point of view, her two sons are out back hanging out, and she sees one go flying down the stairs on a chair. So I'm worried about my brother's life. Meanwhile, Mom comes out, and I'm like, oh, thank God you can fix this. But she comes out with that barbecue spatula and she starts beating me. You're going to fucking murder your brother. Are you insane? What the hell are you doing? I'm like, Mom, I'm scared too. Just like the rush of emotions from like, no to hey.
Yeah. She automatically assumes the devil.
Yes.
She assumed the word.
Which, I mean, most times she would.
Probable cause. She had probable cause. Sure.
That's right.
I remember our mom used to threaten with, she had like this, it was like a spaghetti spoon kind of thing. It was like a wooden spoon that had like
prongs on it.
Yeah, prongs on it. And it was for like getting spaghetti. Yeah. She would threaten with that a lot. I don't know if she used one wooden spoon one time. So Alex was lucky, right? Because when
you got hit at our house, it was oldest to youngest.
But everyone, no matter what happened, everyone got hit, right? Like if everyone was there, if it was like a thing where everyone was involved, it doesn't matter whose fault, who did what, everyone got hit, right? It was kind of like a hey, if you're all gonna fuck around, you're all gonna get right kind of thing, even if you weren't involved. So everyone would get hit, but it would be oldest to youngest. So there was several times where like one time I got hit and fell over, right? That broke it up. Alex doesn't get hit. Then another time I got hit and burped, right?
And it's like they hit the burp out of him. It was hilarious.
They hit the burp out of me. Alex, Tom had already gotten it. I just got it. Alex fucking lucks out not getting another one because they broke up the room. And then another time, the fucking paddle broke on me. Right. Yeah. And Alex then.
I want to say Matt's broken. There's a couple spoons have been broken over Matt, to be honest. So I would say definitely 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, I would agree. I know
that's rough because
go ahead.
You get the beating for whatever you did wrong, but then you're also at fault because she has to buy another spoon. You're like, well, you didn't have to hit me with it.
Every time she sees that spoon, she remembers.
It was comic. Matt was like, for some reason, and maybe this might be a theme of your life. It was just so funny when Matt got hit.
Yeah,
it broke the tension a lot. We'll say.
I did know, like, there was some times where you're like, all right, maybe like let's fucking clean this. You know, there was some times where like, all right, good. That kind of was better that happened because this was going off the deep end. You know,
that would be Brad. So it would get ugly, and then Brad would be the last to be punished, and like he'd be the most obnoxious because he wouldn't shut the fuck up, and he'd like have to eat alone on the stairs, and like it'd be quiet and awkward at dinner, and then we'd all be eating. Brad'd be alone in another room down the flight of stairs, and he'd be like, "Can I come back? I'm sorry," and like we'd all start giggling at dinner. We'd be like, "Why is he alone down there?"
It is funny, like when you're getting in trouble. And like something is like, it's just like, you know,
one voice just sets it all off.
And I think that's, I don't know if we were like searching for that, because like that is a high, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it's like you're in trouble and you're about like, you're getting your, like the shit's coming in, and then like, there's like, just like a line or something that like cuts it all. And it was like, we were constantly searching for that, like, you know, pushing the limit. And then you just kept like, well, what else? Like, you know, oh man,
I remember
Matt, the honks story was the greatest when you had to honk the horn.
So there's 2 stories I want to tell. One, we were at our house. A Night at the Roxbury was way over. The movie and the soundtrack was way over. Do you guys remember the movie Night at the Roxbury? Yeah. Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Molly Shannon, you know what I mean, right? And like there was a whole SNL thing.
What is love, baby, don't hurt.
That movie was really, really big in our house, right? And there was a guy in there. I think it was Joe Totoro played him, but he played like the big shot club owner guy, right? And he would always say to Colin Quinn, "Hey, did you grab my ass? Did you grab?" And Colin Quinn would be like,
"Is that a Bronx Tale guy?"
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Chaz Palminteri.
I think it was Chaz Palminteri.
Maybe it was Chaz Palminteri. I'll have to look it up. But either way, he would say like, you know, "Sir, for where I'm standing, it's physically impossible for me to grab your ass." And that was like his thing. He would always say like, "Hey, did you grab my ass?" You know what I mean? To everybody. So one time my dad was like freaking out, like yelling, like, and he was like, "Get the fuck up, like get the hell upstairs." You know what I mean? He's like, "I'm going to be up there in a minute." And I'm walking up the stairs and he's like red hot mad. And I'm walking up the stairs and I just go, "Dad, did you grab my ass?" And he fucking lost it. And I was like, all right, we're in the clear. Funny's working. Let's keep it funny. But Tom, go ahead and tell the honk story, if you will. So I'll set the stage where our parents, my dad had just left. Parents are recently divorced. And like, you know, my dad is like coming over to the house after leaving, and they do not really like each other. So go ahead, Tom.
And our dad, I mean, we got hit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we got hit. We were getting hit a lot. So they're arguing outside. But like I said, it was this thing like we were like trying to like, you know, I think for some reason in our family, there was always these stories. Like our dad would tell these stories of like when he got in trouble when he was a kid, and my mom and this and that. And so like, I think we kind of wanted to create our own stories. I don't know. But they were out front arguing, and Matt had to go to a game or something, a baseball game or something. Yeah. He was running late. And so like he's sitting there running late. Well, I realized my dad had a cell phone in the car. So I call the cell phone and he picks up, and they're like in a heated argument. Like you did not want to go around this. Like you're like, this is bad news. And I go, "Yo, Matt, honk the horn." Like to tell dad like to hurry up. Right? And he's in the car and he's like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, fucking honk the horn.
Dude,
I'm like,
because he was like, he was
hot.
I talked about before on the show, he had like a resting tension where it was like, he was like boiled over, was like status quo. So like the quickest thing, and he was going. And I was like, if I honk this fucking horn, not only is he arguing with my mom right now, but he's gonna fucking lose it. And eventually,
but we know how crazy, like we know how amazing it will be if he does honk the horn. We're like, oh man, if you do it. So Matt's in the car.
He could legit have a heart attack right now. He'd be that fucking mad.
He's on the phone, right? And he reaches over and he honks the horn. And my dad like runs over to the car, opens the door, grabs us like, like starts like screaming. And we're losing it in the house. Like we're watching from the window. We're like hysterical laughing. Like we can't stop laughing. And he's like grabbing him and and he's yelling at him and he throws him back in the car.
Who the
shuts
fuck
the
you
door.
Think you are?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like, yeah. You
Slams
fucking
the
honking
door,
at me.
right? And Matt's in there and he's like, now he's like hunched over like, fucking asshole, I should have honked the horn, whatever. So he's in there. Now they're arguing again, and now it's even more hot. Yeah. So I call Matt again. I'm like, honk it again. Right? I'm like, honk the horn again. So he's sitting there and he's like, no, I'm not honking the horn. I'm not. He's
No way.
I'm not doing it. I'm not
Wasn't doing it.
So I make a sign that says honk the horn, right? And I go, and my parents are standing there. There's a window right there. So I go to put it up right next to my parents' heads, honk the horn. I fucking break the window. The window's broken. The glass goes shattering out. They come to the sign.
Like right on them. It's like right on
like
them.
Right next to them. And so then they're like, what the fuck? And they like go in. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like sitting there. My dad comes like, what the fuck's going on? You know, like this. And I'm like, I was like, Matt's late for his game. I was just knocking on the window to tell you he's got to go, you know? And then they're like, then thank God they were worried that hopefully like I didn't cut myself. They're like, did you cut yourself? Like, what's happening? And my dad, like in a fit of rage, just leaves, goes out the door, gets in the car, slams it and pulls off. And I'm like, oh my God. I thought I was going to die. I was like, oh no, I was in trouble.
What did you do with the paper?
Well, I guess it's already on the outside. I don't know.
I love the commitment to making a sign.
Yeah.
Just from phone call to like immediate, like right here.
I was trying to break him. I was trying to get him to laugh.
I stopped answering the phone.
He stopped answering.
And he's like, fucking bam.
And I was excited because I knew the sign. I knew because we're watching him from the window. And so we're just trying to get him to crack. It's almost like on SNL when you're trying to get the other member to laugh. And so like he's like committed. I'm not honking. And he's pissed off at us because we got him to honk the first time and he got his ass chewed out. Yeah. So like we were like, we got to get him to do it again. Because if he would have honked the second time, who knows what would have happened that time?
He probably would have been like the fucking car.
He might have rode you over. He might have drove you over with the car.
Oh my God.
Before we get out of Brad's adolescence, how many glass coffee tables did you break, Brad, as a kid?
Over 8, under 13.
What? We had a wagon wheel. A lot. It was a big wagon.
There was a series of unfortunate events.
So many. So we had a
wagon. And Mike was always so proud of those tables. He's like, look at this beautiful thing that I'm gonna adorn our new living room with.
When you say Mike, you mean your stepdad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Sorry.
So you broke the original one he came to the house with. We were playing the lava game. And it was one of those coffee tables where it's a big rectangle and its beginning is glass, the end is glass, middle is wood. And we're playing the lava game, and I watched Brad go glass, no wood, just skips the wood and shatter Mike Bull's coffee table that he showed up with. My mother goes on this weird Southwest kick in like, I don't know, 1997, where like all of a sudden our living room becomes like Southwestern theme. None of us have been to fucking Arizona in our lives. There's like a coyote
statues everywhere.
Arizona tea was big, babe. You know,
who knows what this woman's up to? Yeah, we have this big wagon wheel with a huge piece of glass in the middle, like to cover almost the whole circle.
That's the table.
It's the whole coffee table.
Wait. Yeah. So it's a wagon wheel that's like
on
turned up,
on its side,
like facing up.
Yep.
Okay, and the glass is covering the wagon.
Covering all the spokes, big sheet of glass.
Hold on, before we talk about this one, Brad, was there an injury from the previous glass table?
Yeah.
I walk away from everything completely unharmed.
You must have the skin of a rhino. That's incredible.
Well, my feet are exceptionally prone to damage. Yeah. I mean, I never wore shoes in the summer. Our stepbrother would constantly call me I mean, yeah, I was that kid. I'd run on asphalt. I can run on rocks.
Yeah,
I'd walk over glass. We lived across the street from a bar, and I didn't wear shoes, and never an issue.
Damn,
I've got leather feet,
dude.
I sent you for penny candy one time, and you came back empty-handed, and you were like, "I gotta get shoes." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, oh yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
You tried to walk into the farm.
I can't be bothered. Yeah, I still don't like them.
Yeah. No, my Jay Bowers, fan of the show, listener of the show, former guest of the show, same thing. Dude, he had an alley behind his house they would eventually pave, right? And it was fucking jet hot blacktop in the summer. It was you could feel it through your shoes walking on it. And he's fucking just walking down it, no problem, on bare feet. I'm like, I don't fucking, hey, dude. It was hot enough it would give you fucking blisters. And he's just no sweat.
So when it's real hot, you want to get off the black asphalt and onto the concrete on the sidewalks because it doesn't absorb as much of the heat from the sun. Yeah, grass is a great safe heat.
I heard you like jumping on the black asphalt.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Just I mean, I didn't hear that, but it's just the line. I had an opportunity to jump on it, and I did. So back to the wagon wheel coffee table. So it's a wagon wheel facing up. With glass.
We touched on you liking to jump on black asphalt. Back to the wagon wheel now.
Yeah. Speaking of asses, the wagon wheel.
This segment can go on for 15 minutes. How many coffee tables this kid's broken?
I mean, let's do it.
But basically, this is the new pride of the living room. Weird stuff would happen. They bought a giant purple couch that was horrendous and uncomfortable. Why? Now we have the wagon wheel table. So at this age, it's all still young. Definitely elementary school is age. I'm in the hobby of
your first table was you broke your first glass table in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did all this before 8.
So but above coffee tables, the amount of my stepbrothers would freak out because they would come over, every other weekend. Some would funnel in and out. The amount of Comcast TV remotes me and Brad have shattered in fights it's in the 30s. I used to, when I would walk home, I would see the Comcast.
What would happen when you would break all this stuff?
Well, so eventually,
wow. But the war,
it just became a chart. Let's
we didn't
try
learn.
to not.
Yeah, you would get up. So we kept a good faith rule of you don't take the remote into the kitchen with you. The remote stays in the living room, and it was a good faith policy. And I am the oldest. I'm the latchkey child. So I come home, we do what I fucking say until mom shows up. And so I got to make a sandwich. We have 3 minutes in between shows. We're watching blank, and I go in, I come back. He's changed the channel. Give me the remote. War starts, But then I would start to take it in the kitchen. I'd be like, we shouldn't have to live like this. We don't have to live like animals because then remotes would get lost in the fridge. Remotes would get lost in weird places because we were hiding
next to the
them from
microwave and
and then you'd be like, where the fuck is the remote? And you'd be like, I'd spend 45 minutes couch cushions underneath the coffee table. Then you guys start searching the kitchen. You're like, what are we doing here? We're living like animals because there's 5 of us in here,
Yeah.
And so it becomes
time frame, Justin. I'd be willing to bet this all happened. I'd say we went through, 30s intense. 6 to 7
Those
is not
Xenon
unreasonable.
ones would snap in our hands when we would wrestle with them. Those ones were trash.
Okay.
But this is also probably the course of a summer or maybe 2 summers. So there was a time where, mom had to go to work, school's out. He and I would go to the Boys and Girls Club for a while. Justin hits the mature age of 11. And mom's like, you can start watching your brother. And I'm like, yo, Ma, I want to live too.
Yeah.
It was the age where he's starting to go through puberty and stuff. So I'm like, hey, you want to hang out and play Nintendo? And he's like, hey, you want to shut the fuck up and go kill yourself? And I'd be like, all right. I guess playing Mortal Kombat by myself today. Yeah. And then she's like, we're going to have your brother babysit you this summer.
Ooh.
And yeah, so it's like it was a nightmare. So every fight, and it's like, you know, he'd walk out and then like we'd change the thing and he'd be like, all right, don't put anything gay, you fucking and I just take the remote right at the back of his head. Well, actually in the back the one time, that's how that one shattered. I watched you shatter it in your hands where like I think I peed a little bit at that time. I was like, oh my God, like that's gonna be
like I woke the fucking dragon on this one. Oh boy. So yeah. Okay, so hon, let's get back. So remotes also a thing, but the glass coffee table. So we're on the wagon wheel, glass coffee table.
Yeah. So basically, what happened? I'm at an age I decided to pick up the hobby of dominoes. I don't know why it happened. I had like this cool, whatever. I had this like little binder book. It was stacked with a bunch of dominoes, and I just like built little houses. And like I had like a theater building up. Like this thing was stacked up nice. It was like perfect. And I was like right at the end, like about to even it up and like put like the precipice on it.
Okay.
And lost the focus, stumbled it. It all shattered. And I just went, fuck, and palmed and just like a judge's
like an axe handle smash. Bam.
It was right here. I just went, fuck. So I broke the table. Mike comes running in. First, he's like, what'd you say? And then he's like, what was that sound? And I'm like, oh, Christ. Yeah.
Wow.
R.I.P. It was a great table while it lasted. All of 3 weeks, probably.
So the wagon wheel is Kaputski. Then after the wagon wheel, so you're 2 for 2 on coffee tables, right?
Right.
Do you have another one?
I mean, I think that was it.
The last one is the last one is my favorite. We've now moved out of North Wales. We're in Hatfield. My stepfather Brad is living at the parents' house.
Oh,
he's the only child living there. My stepfather buys a brand new 55-inch TV. He's never had a flat screen TV. So excited. Yeah. He asked Brad to set it up for him.
Yeah.
He's standing out back, looking upon his backyard with it ready for his TV to get set up, and all of a sudden Brad shatters the whole fucking glass table.
Oh.
We were setting the TV up on the glass table, by the way, which was terrible advice anyway.
Was this one of those?
So a lot of this is being
that was like,
dude, it was the Vizio boy.
Oh, all right. This so it wasn't like it was that heavy, like because Tom, I remember your first flat screen. That thing was fucking heavy. You know what I mean?
Got it. I still have it.
You do?
Yeah.
Does it still work?
Yeah, it's in the sunroom.
Hell yeah.
Oh, all right. So, but that thing was like heavy. Like, dude, we used to have a 32-inch box TV that we loved, but that thing was like 70 pounds. It was a heavy TV. Was this? But you're saying this flat screen not that heavy?
No, it was definitely manageable by yourself. But the whole thing was like it was being set up for failure. Where I'm like, really, you're gonna put it on like this glass thing over here? And he's like, oh, it's the only thing we got. I'm like, okay. And I actually don't remember. I'm pretty sure I blocked out the details of this because just how horrific the nature of it was. Where it's like, holy Christ, again. And at this point, I'm in like my late teens. And it's like, it's still happening. Just still shattering glass in Mike's house. Like that poor patient man. The one pro of the break in this house was this is the first time we had a hardwood floor in the living room.
Okay.
So the cleanup of it significantly easier because you're going to find glass and carpet for a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah. So nice. All right. Well, good. You know, shout out.
We had a glass break before, Matt.
Matt
was in one room and we were arguing about something. I threw a shoe. The shoe went over Matt and it hit the
china cabinet
and busted the window in the china cabinet. So we were like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You know, mom's going to freak out. She's coming home. We decided to just take the glass out of.
Just clean it all up.
The door. We cleaned it all up, took all the glass out, threw it out.
And then shined up the other one.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Cleaned the other one. I mean, it must have been 6 months later. We see our mom standing there, like putting her hand through.
She's just like,
hey, where's the window?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, Mom.
And it's not like we weren't eating dinner in there. She saw it 1,000 times before then, but I guess she just, thought it was really clean.
Yeah.
Is your mother
Kids
Irish?
clean.
No, we found out Italian and German.
My mother kept a china cabinet too, and we were animals, but like nobody ever got near the china cabinet.
Oh, we
like,
knew.
My mom used to take
because
like nobody in my family has lived very long, and so she would take us around like when we were kids and be like, "Look, if I ever, because now we got 9 people in the goddamn house." Sure. She's like, "If I ever pass away, this is the only things that are fucking valuable in this house." And she would like point at the china cabinet like that. Those 3 plates, those 2 cups, and all that silverware in that drawer. That's the only thing that's worth any fucking money in this whole place. And nobody ever got near the china cabinet, thank God. Like she would always like, we didn't mess around in the dining room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was from the living room. If that, the shoe came from the living room.
It was one of the. Remember how I thought you like flicked it off your foot. You know how like you could flick the shoe off your foot and send it. I think it was one of those, Tom. And but either way, we knew like, dude, the China
and it just
cabinet,
hit the bottom corner. It was like just the bottom corner, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's when it went from like this is an
everyone problem.
Yeah, we're all coming together here. We used to do things too because my dad was away a lot, and we used to do things. And my mom was legit like home with 4 kids by herself, like a lot. And we would do things
not till like 6:30.
Yeah. It was like
we got home at like 3:30, 3:45, and we had a 3-hour window of nothing.
But my sister, this was the worst thing ever. They'd given my sister a key to the house, right? And she wouldn't come home. She would go to swimming practice, and no one fucking gave us a key to the house. So legit, it's the middle of the fucking winter.
We never locked the door, though. We never locked the door. And then apparently this one day we locked
this happened a bunch of times.
I know, but this time in particular.
Yeah.
I have a house now in a regular neighborhood. The houses aren't even as close as the neighborhood I grew up in. The house I grew up in, there was me, Brad, 3 of my brothers. I can't imagine how many times my neighbors saw kids climbing in and out of this house, not through the front door. Because like at a certain point, like if you were locked out, we didn't have cell phones. You just climbed onto the second level of the house and opened a window. Yeah. And one of the windows would be unlocked. If it wasn't your bedroom, it'd be someone else's.
Yeah.
And you would eventually start actively like keeping certain like unlocking windows that were locked before, so you would know it's like, all right, I gotta get this is probably gonna come up again, so I'm gonna leave this one open today.
Yeah.
We would have a side door, and I'd be real good about like unlocking that like at late at night, and then like I would sneak out one way and then come back in through that door.
Yeah.
Well, so I could climb up into my bedroom right above that side door.
Yeah. We have to bring
shimmy up the patio there.
Yeah. It's an old Victorian, but like when you're a kid, like it feels like 45 feet. You know what I mean? Like it's 16 feet to this second story. Like you could have, we probably could have just jumped down and it would have been fine. But like when we were kids, it was like you're like shimmying up a old pipe, like to climb up. Like, I'm up to stuff.
You guys knew, you've been to our parents' house where we had a balcony. And that was like the exit, like we would go out from up there and head out. But eventually it was like, eventually like that's when we were really young. Eventually it would just turn into like a revolving door and everyone went everywhere and no one cared kind of thing. But yeah. So
the old Swamp Fox claims he has a series of lower back and knee issues
from the balcony.
Tumble off that balcony.
Yeah, I witnessed a couple and it wasn't a tumble. So like, when we were kids, dude, like Tom, how high would you say? Well, you guys have all seen it. How high would you say the balcony was? Like 10 feet from the backyard? Yeah,
probably a little more than that.
I remember.
What's a basketball height?
10.
Yeah,
basketball height. So I'd say a couple feet higher than that. Maybe
it was probably
12, 13.
But when we were younger, we would legit jump off of it to the ground, right? And we didn't do it a ton of times, but there was enough times we've done it, right? So like, but then eventually I was like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Cause like
you did it in the snow, to be honest. I don't think
we did. I did it in the snow, but I remember doing it in the summer as well, but not a bunch, only a few times. And like it not being great. And, but like, I remember eventually one time I'd land and I'm like, and like, you'd feel it like in your like back and stuff. I'm like, oh, that didn't land right. And I'm like 11. And I'm like, oh, we shouldn't do
You're
it.
basically going off the top of the cell.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, but Bell, he's like 20 or no, he's probably in high school, right? And he fucking just jumped off of it and landed wrong. Like he landed on his feet, but when he landed, it like jolted his back, and he just fucking
gotta roll.
Gotta fall into it.
Fucking roll.
Yeah, he I guess all his vertebrae just went together, and he just Ever since then, he's been
That's
up
on
shit.
you. That's on you, Bell.
Yeah, no one forced him to do it. No one forced him, But yeah, so that's that. We would do, dude. That balcony was the best. We would do a ton of shit up there. But either way, so we had a ton of weed, booze, other things.
Valentine's Day, whatever.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. You alluded to that on a show previously when we told the story about being on the roof shooting paintball. But one time I was dating this girl,
Courting a young lady, and so I had put a mattress on the roof, and then I got a bunch of candles and I lit the candles around the roof, right? I blindfolded her, then I carried her up the ladder onto the roof, right? And I had a boombox there with batteries in it, and hit play, and the song that played was "When a Man Loves a Woman." Yep. And then we just hung out under the stars on the roof.
Hell yeah.
Unlike that, our house had so many people in it. I don't think I ever brought a girl to our North Wales house because there was so many human beings in such a small space. There was no way you were pulling that off.
Dude, I remember
it was all nature, baby.
Yeah.
We always had people at our house. I mean,
a good house.
You had to find the time. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do that, because we were getting spied on. If not, we would
like. Mom was kind of cool with letting us have girls sleep over at like a young age.
Well, at some point, she knew like she couldn't stop us from doing it. Like I was literally a senior in high school, and I'd be like, "Mom, I'm gonna run to the gas station real quick." And I wouldn't come home till like 4 a.m, and I'd be drunk as shit, like whatever. Yeah. I was like, I don't give a shit. And so she's like, I gotta pay the bills. I'm going to work. Don't get arrested. I don't know.
Did you guys have did you have central air or the window units?
Window
units.
Yeah.
We had fucking fans.
That's how
that's a window unit.
In the summer, most of the rooms condensed to, so there was the parents' bedroom, my bedroom, and the living room. That was it. So anybody who wanted to piled into my room and slept on the either slept on the bed or the floor. Like Bradley would either be at the feet with Kahlua or on the floor with D-Bill. And then anybody else just sweated it out with fans upstairs. And then the parents had a AC unit. So like in the summer as well, you would try and bring a chick over, but like
the basement. We would
there's only 4 rooms in this house that aren't 106 degrees right now.
Yeah. We had
our basement was like filthy and haunted and not suitable for public
I outgrew
consumption.
Our basement in 1996. I was too tall for it. It was built for Irish people in 1907.
Yeah,
we had a sweet basement.
It was
ours was a war zone. We had a boxing bag. We had all kinds of wild ass tools.
We had all that.
Bunch of swords were down there.
Yeah, our stepfather brought in like all these machetes and swords and shit. Me and Brad would like go in there and sneak in there and be like, who the fuck is this guy?
I mean,
it was the coolest. You just get fucked up and go to the Renaissance fair and then just come home with anything you find.
Like that.
A mace down there.
I'm liking your stepdad more and more. This is fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, I mean,
he's the man.
I found way cooler shit than what I can talk about, but yeah, it was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, we had. I mean, eventually our room would be. It was me, Tom, and Alex all lived in the same room. And it was the air conditioner wasn't there, but it was just 3 mattresses on the floor. And we had like a TV against the wall that had, it was a combination VCR TV combo, right? TV VCR combination. I think it was like a 13-inch screen. We fucking
probably smaller than the computer you're using right now.
It definitely was. Definitely. But yeah, we rode the fucking wheels off that thing. But yeah. So
you get a different Yeah, I'm sorry. You get a different bond, like spending those nights without internet and cell phones. Like me and Brad would play 20 questions for years together.
Yeah, we would do too. Like we would all like you would also know like if someone had like a girl in there, you're like, all right, we're like just make sure you get like because I would keep like my weed and stuff in there. I'm like, all right, I'll get that out of here and just fucking, you know what I mean? And like you know, and if you walked in on someone with a girl in there, you would kind of just like be like, oh, all right, time to go. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it was a whole thing, but then eventually, dude, I don't know, because like that's one thing I know like I had buddies at like families where you know things were like more well together in a way, but also like I remember my one buddy saying he's like, dude, you would have sex with blah 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 so much at your mom's house like all the time, and like oh my god, he's like I never brought a girl back to my mom's house ever. And I'm like, oh, well, that fucking sucks for you, buddy. You know, but then also it's like, you know, we had stuff stolen from the house and like we would have big parties there that would.
Yeah, never.
Yeah. And like I remember one time this girl, we were having a party, right? And it was Pete's buddy. His name was it was Tommy, right? Was his name. And he was from like he grew up with Pete in the Northeast. Then he moved to like down south, and then he came back up for like a couple weeks in the summer and was like hanging out with us and Pete, and like he brought his buddy Jeremy, I think his name was. But either way, they come up and like we're all hanging out, and like Pete has a sister and Pete's sister had some friends that were and so Pete went to like his sister's like, hey, do you have a friend for Tommy tonight to like hang out with? And she's like, oh yeah, I have a friend. And this friend was like a total hooah, right? And so we're having a party at the house. Tommy gets this girl, right? And they go upstairs and like they're like in my room, like hooking up and doing all this stuff. And Tommy comes back downstairs and he's like, yo, I need to talk to you real quick. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like, and when you're a kid at a party and this thing's happening, you're like, oh, God damn it. So I'm like, what's going on, man? And he straight up told me, he's like, look, I'm hooking up with this chick, right? I'll have to cut her name. Well, I won't say her name. I'll tell you guys off air. But he's like, I'm hooking up with this chick, right? And I fuck her in the ass and she shit all over your bed. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So I went upstairs and I'm like, God damn.
I think I kicked everyone out of that party.
You did. You came home and you were pissed.
Everyone get the fuck out.
Yeah, you were pissed. I remember. I think it was Doll or someone like got fucking like drank too much scenario, or someone did. Someone got like sick. But were you there, Justin, that night? Maybe, I don't know. But either way, fucking yeah. Dude, I remember I took the sheet and that Tommy kid was there and I threw it on him and he was like, oh motherfucker. He was like, dude, can I shower? And I was like, yeah, do whatever. Tell her if she needs a shower, you can do it too. You know what I mean? And I just like had to clean it up and like do whatever. But it was, dude, yeah, fucking partying as kids. What are you gonna do? And then Pete named that girl for the rest of her life, was called the Unipooper. Yeah. What are you gonna do? But all right, so let's keep it moving. We kind of got off track a little bit. So you would graduate.
So there was a wagon wheel.
There was a wagon wheel.
So you broke tables.
Yeah.
I broke them all.
So
give me a table. I'll break one today.
I'll do it right now.
You won't do it. Break a table right now.
I'll do it right now.
Break
But it needs to have value to someone else.
Yeah. It can't matter to me.
Or else I'm not interested.
Right. You need to shatter someone's table and their heart at the same time. Yeah.
Goddamn right.
So I want to ask you guys this question. So I was talking to someone at work today in an office, and I asked them this: what if everyone in the office took $500 out of their a year? Like, say if there's 400 people in your office, everyone takes out $500, and it's a year, like once a year, right? And that $500 goes towards employing someone that can be used to punch and kick and beat whenever something angers you in the office, right? So say you're in the office, someone's an idiot and they mess up and you can't really do anything about it. You can call, punch bag Jerry. Jerry comes up to your desk, lay him out, and he takes off. He's got full medical and dental benefits, all that stuff, right? But like, instead of like forcing your anger onto the person who actually messed up, you take it out on, you know, the whipping boy, and then you're good to go. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like, how positive of a workplace would that be?
Are you that angry at work that you want to?
Yeah, I
was
was
say
gonna
that sounds like a negative workplace to me. That you're hiring someone to punch.
Isn't that the definition of punching down? Here, you're not smart enough to do any other job, so I'm going to hire you to beat the shit out of you.
How many people are in your office?
I think there's like 400, 300, or in my office, I think there's 200, but then there's the home office, I think, is another like 150.
That's $100,000. Is that $100,000 then?
And then
200.
And then there's another, but I think it ends up being like 400 because there's three offices combined.
So they're getting $400,000 a year to get punched by
anybody.
I mean, that means they're getting punched multiple times a day.
Possibly, but some days they could not get punched at all.
Everything's going great.
It's true.
I mean, if morale's up, yeah, you're probably going to do well.
Are there like sections like is kicks to the nuts? So
this is what I thought. I was like, you should designate it where it's like you have 3 headshots a year you can do, right? You can do
$500.
Yeah, I mean,
well, like 3 headshots a year. Like, dude, if someone has to stand there and you fucking
listen, I gotta see the person. You know, someone.
Do you want to abuse this person?
You're spending $500 a month.
It's not a month. It's once a year.
A year.
Yeah, you're spending $500 a year, and you know, little Susie, that's 100 pounds, is spending $500 a year. I'll take her 500. You can keep yours. You know what I mean? She could hit me, but I'm not trying to get a full-on knockout punch from. You know, I got to look at the people spending, because then for you, I'd be like, hey, yours is 10 grand a year. All right, you know, like you're not doing this for 500. Well, I mean, I'm gonna have a broken jaw.
It's possible.
Yeah, for way cheaper, you could just talk to somebody like once a week. You know that, right? Let's just do it over Zoom.
It was just an idea, guys. I'm not, you know.
No, trust me, there was a time.
I'm not angry. I'm a normal guy. I don't get angry. Not me. Never.
I mean, there was a point in time in my life where I would have 1,000% taken you up on that idea.
Right. So instead of
saying 500 a year seems pretty cheap
for a human punching bag, because even remember the Mr. Slam that like came out like in early 2000s.
No,
that thing let out a lot of stress. The fake upper torso guy that was a punching bag,
with the base.
That felt so much better than a regular punching bag.
Why not just buy one of those?
I would bite it, elbow it.
You're biting it? You were biting it?
What about stabbing, right? What if you get if you paid 10 grand, you could stab someone?
A human?
I don't think I'd ever want to stab.
I don't want to stab anyone.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to either, guys.
There was a point in time. There was one time.
You want to spend money to do it?
I would never.
10 grand here. Come on. No, I'd rather do it 10 grand.
It's a company thing. It's a group experiment.
Right. It's just
team building. Team together to murder one guy a year.
Come on.
How about a team murder?
One team murder a year.
Hey, we're gonna. You know what? Let's tie someone to a pole and we'll burn them.
What if burn them? What if it was a death row? What if it was a death row inmate?
A stoning,
right? A death row inmate that this is a possible option, right?
Go to their family
instead of being on death row.
Stoning anyone.
They're locked up in an office, and this is what
with actual stones. Like you'll get someone.
Yeah.
So we're going to replace the American judicial system with a gladiators coliseum.
Well, no,
I believe that's what you're suggesting.
They don't get to fight back.
No, an execution.
They don't get to fight back.
Oh.
They just get to be beat up by anybody, that pays their deductible.
If you want to execute somebody,
if I ever end up on death row, I 1,000% want it done by firing squad. I don't want that fucking lethal injection bullshit. Give me a blindfold and a cigarette, and one of you just shoot me.
I think New Hampshire still is hanging. I think is their form of execution.
I'd like firing squad, but I'll take hanging. Real?
I believe so.
Why can't you choose how you die? You know,
I want firing squad. I want the cig. I want the blindfold.
Bad.
I would say
8 bullets right through the fucking.
If could you imagine if public hangings were still a thing? Do you think crime would drop dramatically? Right?
Public hangings as well. If I
would
get
be-
hung, I do want it to be in the desert, though.
On a tree.
Yeah, like, you know, I
Like
mean,
a
if we're
lone
going with
tree
like
in
the
the
Western theme of it, like being hung in the forest just sounds depressing.
We're getting on a weird topic.
Yeah,
do you
we
wanna,
really
do you
are.
want to
So-
stab anyone else or?
So let's keep it moving. I want to get
How much
into-
would you guys pay to stab somebody?
I'd eat human flesh if they served it to me, but I don't want to stab anyone.
I mean, if we've all eaten Chinese food, we probably have. So,
I mean, definitely had pigeon.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
you
definitely
would
had
eat,
cat.
You would eat human?
I think I would. Like if you told me where it came from, where it was sourced from, and you
What? Well,
prepared
hold on.
it,
Does it
Is it a
matter
guy
what
Is it
or
a
race?
part of the
Does it
body?
matter what race?
Like, no,
What sex?
not at all. But like some guy was like, "Hey, like I'm gonna die soon. I got good flesh, you know, in my
well, hold
in
on.
my
But what
hunks."
if it was?
I think
like,
I could eat a leg.
Yeah, I'd be
What-
like, "This
I could
is
eat a
human
leg.
leg.
Maybe
This
not
is
an arm.
consensual
no organs.
human flesh."
What if it was
We're
like a
gonna cook it up.
Samoan that had like a ton of gristle on it?
Sure,
You know what I
I'll
mean?
take any race. I just as long,
long as it's prepared
consensual
right.
Human, I'll try it.
Put some barbecue sauce on that.
I'm not
Yeah, hell yeah.
anti-cannibalism.
Mine
Yeah.
would have to be a
Pan-seared
chick. I
Samoan
wouldn't
leg?
want a dude. I wouldn't want a dude leg. I want
You want a dude like trust
I-
a
me.
young
dude,
gazelle.
you want a better
gazelle,
meat.
You know.
I mean, honestly, if it's got the Chick-fil-A sauce on it, I'd fucking eat anything with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You could legit eat
Try
anything.
it. I'm not crazy.
So yeah, so all right. So let's keep it moving.
Would I eat a human being?
So,
I don't think so. I
Brad,
couldn't
would
eat a
you
human being.
would you end up graduating from Temple?
No,
No.
college
Okay.
dropout, baby. Yeah, what a transition.
I know.
King
So,
of segues.
I think I might eat a human being. So, Brad, did you graduate from?
Did you
Temple?
like college? Was it suitable for you?
So I want to talk about your first job. You worked at you were, I guess Justin's talking about this place. You worked with your dad, right? This is the place.
Yeah,
your
that
dad
would have
worked?
been, yeah.
Don't say
So
the name.
basically, as soon as we could get like working papers or whatever,
Yeah.
he'd bring us into the shop and we started off there. It was very, very mundane work. I hated the smell of the place. It stunk. We'd have to get up so early. It smelled like oil and metal. And it just like you walk in and you'd be like, and it was dark because we'd always go in early. I mean, obviously he wasn't setting us off with very like complex tasks or anything like that. However, the characters in the place were definitely hilarious. I believe in the area that we worked, myself, Justin, and my father were the only three white men really directly in that place. It was us and then all Vietnamese employees.
Wow.
Very friendly, very interesting.
Sure.
They'd all work on. So what's wild though too is thinking about. So this would have been very early 2000s.
Okay.
And every single employee in that shop ripped cigarettes right inside of it. And it's
Just
like
long
it's
darts the whole time.
like and all day long. And it's like we would go on like lunch breaks and they'd all just be like screaming and yelling and smoking and eating and playing cards. And it's like I was very fascinated during the lunch breaks. Just like what the hell is going on in there? Because they'd be speaking their native tongue. I wouldn't understand it. It just sounded very loud, but like it was just hilarious. Just the gambling, smoking, eating noodles, and then right back to the machine.
Dude, I've been like I remember going in to get like a gift certificate at a nail salon, right, for my wife. So you get like, for like a gift or whatever. And I go in there and I go up to the counter like, hi, how are you? How can I help you? Like super nice. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of just get a gift certificate. And then all of a sudden it's, and they're like yelling to whoever they're talking to. I'm like, whoa, like who are you mad at? Right. And they're just like, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just, maybe it's just how we perceive how they talk. They could just be talking normal,
Right.
but we think they're like ripping someone's head off. And I'm like, whoa, yo.
Our inflection for friendly is not the same as theirs, but
That-
truly
yeah.
the nicest guys there. I did work there one day a week
Hard
while I was
workers?
going to Temple. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Sure.
I was half asleep the whole time.
Yeah.
Great guys. Yes, hard workers.
Sure.
So while I was at Temple, I would work there one day a week. And these two guys, Ming and Kong, lived up in the city. So I lived at the dormitory in Whitehall. They would pick me up directly across the street every Thursday at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would get home every Wednesday night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, because that was like when all the frat parties were. And when you don't have any money, you can always come up with $3 or $4 to go in to get your cup. And it was the midnight, it was the hump day thing. You go out like every Wednesday at Temple. So they were the nicest guys every single day. I never once asked, and I don't know if I said thank you enough, but every single day they bring me a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I would never drink it because as soon as I got in the back seat, I would immediately pass out, sleep for like the 42, 45-minute ride to work, wake up, I had a cup of coffee in my hand, got to where I needed to be. So I can say Ming and Kong, totally great dudes.
Shout out, fans of the show, listening to the show.
Hell yeah,
nice.
Big fans.
So let's keep it moving then. So you left there, and then you were in like your early 20s, and you would work at like a restaurant as like a busboy dishwasher, right?
No, so this would be high school age.
Okay.
So this is during high school. This is yeah.
And there was like a man there named Kim. What's the deal with Kim?
Well, back in the day, it was fascinating to meet like a very, very white man, big, thick mustache named Kim.
Okay.
You let that go. You think of the boy named Sue story. Gotcha. He was a good personification of that.
Wait, what restaurant was this?
This was the Franconia Heritage.
I think I knew a fucking guy named Kim that had a big mustache.
You know a man named Kim?
He was a manager. He was a drunk.
Well, yeah, that would track with my experience too. But he was this guy was a line cook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the man named Kim. So I like bus tables there for a little bit, but the wait staff, as you know, basically the bus boys make their money based off of the waiters tipping them out. So you might get $5 an hour, and then these ladies at the Heritage would tip out maybe $5. And it's like, so I'm leaving here making no money. So it eventually made more sense for me to dishwash at that place, which was fine. Wasn't bothered by it. The busing sucked anyway.
Sure.
So Kim was like the mashed potatoes man. And he came back every single day. We would clean out the mashed potatoes. He'd be like, we're wrapping it up for the night. Don't touch the mashed potatoes for a while. They're really hot. And I'd be like, all right. And we'd leave it there and let that cool off for a while, clean up everything else, move on. So I'm working with a younger kid this one night. And you are working essentially in a sauna when you're dishwashing. It's just hot water spraying all the time. So it just naturally builds up humidity. And like, depending on the night, they're just tossing more and more. It's like, how many plates, how many cups am I going to clean? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm working with this younger kid, Devin, and I guess tensions are getting high. Could not tell you like how things set off, but I can tell you how it resolved. He grabs a spoon of these very hot, just placed down by a man named Kim mashed potatoes.
Okay.
And he throws it. He just flicks like a whole spoon at me, and like it hits my face, it hits my arms, and I can feel it like immediately. Like, oh my God,
dude, it's
like,
steam's coming off of it. It's fucking hot.
Like it's like fucking acid.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, what is happening? And I guess he sees like a look in my face, and he puts it down, and he just starts running the other way.
Sure.
Keep in mind, like in the dishwashing scenario, the floor is wet. It's it's slippery.
Yeah.
It's hot.
The whole
He's
kitchen is. Yeah.
But I'm still in it. So I grab the spoon and I throw it at him. And as discussed earlier, hand-eye coordination, athletics, not necessarily my strong suit,
right?
But I rocked him right in the back of the head.
I
got him right there, and I was like, yes. And then he fell down, and I was like, oh no. I was like, holy shit. So like the rage immediately like went to, oh God, I just killed a minor.
Yeah.
Maybe I was 16 and he was 14, something like that.
Start
Damn
stacking
right.
them
By
up.
mashed potato.
So I go to check in on him, and the back of his head's bleeding. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I've made a huge mistake. So I'm like, we need to resolve this right now. Yeah. So I pick him up and he's like, oh, what's happening? I'm like, hey, he's got a little cut back here. I literally walk him over to like the hand washing station because he got big sinks and long hoses. Yeah. I just put his head in there and start running cold water, and I start washing blood out of the back of his head. Like, yeah, you're going to be okay. Like, you burnt me. I almost killed you. We're good. We don't need to talk about this to anyone else.
Yeah.
Don't tell Kim.
And I mean, Kim knew, but Kim didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Kim was the man. That was my fondest memory of the Franconi.
Did and you never got in trouble for that? No one ever found out? Nice.
No.
Nice.
He burned me. I cut open the back of his head. We were good.
Yeah.
Nice. Got along great after that.
Nice. All right.
Was the best man at his wedding.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No. Just kidding.
Yeah, you haven't talked to him since.
He died shortly.
He's dead. Yeah, he's
so then forever.
Something
he died 2 days later. We don't know how, but
I want to. Yeah. So then let's keep it moving.
Blood loss.
So you left this place.
Something.
You would stay in like the restaurant genre, and you'd go from there to be a waiter at Pizza Hut. Now, I want to talk about this. Back in the day,
the dream.
Back in the
Hell
day,
yeah.
Pizza Hut was slamming, and then second of all, Pizza Hut had a salad bar to fucking die for. All right, Shout out Pizza Hut salad bar. Fan of the show, listener of the show. Right. But what was the experience like being a waiter there? Because it seems like every baseball team after a game, big win is going there. Right. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. What was your thoughts? How did you like it? Shout out Pizza the Hut.
I mean, to me, it was a good stepping stone to where I was eventually going. I didn't like bussing tables. Dishwashing had ran its course after like a certain murder. And then it was just an opening. It was right across the street from my high school. It was walkable distance from my dad's house. They still had like those big red cups. Do you remember those red cups? Or like plastic and glossy? It was the best.
Yeah.
They had like two kegs in there
on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And like frosted and see-through. So it was like a weird bit of nostalgia. But outside of that, it was actually pretty straightforward. But just basically getting like the grasp of what do you want and how do I get this to all the people at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
A couple months there. Good job.
Yeah. Shout out Pizza Hut Salad Bar. Fan of the show, listener to the show. Nice.
That was the first place I like properly put my 2 weeks resignation in too.
Oh.
And I remember like the 2 weeks came up because like I'm done with this. I was moving on to something else. And I remember like 2 weeks later, the manager calls like, you're not here for your shift. And I'm like, yeah, I don't work there anymore. She's like, really? You're just going to leave like that? I'm like, well, no. I put it in 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, if that's how it's going to be. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's the rules, bitch. Get over it. Yeah.
You even got
I followed him. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm
told
not coming in.
Yeah. So nice. So then let's keep it moving. So you would leave Pizza the Hut. And then was this like a job you would do carpeting, and you did like a big building at a local university, right? So how did you get this job, and what was the deal going on here?
So a neighbor of my father worked for Roy Lomas Carpets for a while. If you remember that business, we would see those vans running around town all the time. He had carved off on his own adventure. Needed some help. I needed a summer job. So we went to work at the dormitories in Widener University.
All right.
Which, so basically go in and it starts off, we were tearing the carpet out of everything. So just cutting rug, rolling it up, throwing it in a dumpster.
All right.
Cutting rug. That's all you were doing. Cutting some rug.
Cutting rug. But was weird, like eventually at that job, there was like a full week where all I did was carry tiles. So it was a 4-store dormitory. I'd load up like 100 pounds of tiles on my shoulders, and then I'd walk up to the 4th story. I'd go to the farthest hallway in the dormitory, put it down. And then I'd walk all the way down, walk back, load up another 4 pallets, and fill that up until there was, 30 boxes there. And then I go up to the 4th story and go to the 2nd furthest hallway. And like basically like for 2 weeks, that's what I did until like eventually I'm just working on the 1st floor. And I was like, all right, cool. I could do this without stairs now.
Nice. You getting some good shape though? Feeling jacked?
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was good. Nice. The real adventure was like going to and from there though. So this guy was a pretty significant alcoholic, heavy smoker. We'd go in for like the morning Wawa runs and they would sell half cartons of Marlboro Reds.
Yeah.
So 5 packs.
Yeah.
I'd watch him buy that daily. Think
Shut
about
the fuck up. That's 100 cigarettes. That's 100 cigarettes.
That's 100 cigarettes. Now, did he smoke all 5 every day? I don't know. But he did buy 5 packs a day. Every time I saw him, he had a cigarette in his mouth. It was like the man was goddamn committed.
I mean,
so that was his morning ritual.
I used to fucking love smoking cigarettes so fucking much. I wish that they weren't so like didn't fuck you up so much. I would love to be a smoker. I would absolutely fucking love it. I loved smoking P-Funks, smoking milds, smoking fucking anything. Oh, Newport Lights for a while. God damn, I miss fucking.
That was Liam's brand. Liam was the only one I knew who smoked Marlboro Milds.
Oh, yeah. I loved Milds. Milds were great.
All right. They were good.
Great smoke. It's a great smoke.
2002, you would catch me with a pack of Milds.
Oh, I love the fucking good mild, babe.
Do they not have Milds anymore?
No, they stopped Milds. Remember when they like limited? So they stopped letting you call them lights.
Yeah.
They got rid of Milds when that
they were
happened.
Yellows or whatever. Golds.
Yeah, they stopped letting you call them like light because like that made it seem
it
like
implies
it was less.
that it's healthy.
Yeah.
And so they got rid of Milds then.
Well, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, the blue pack, Marble blue pack. Shout out. Big fan of the show.
Fan of the show, listener show. Yeah, fucking love them. Dude, and then Parliament Menthol Lights, P-Funk. Oh my God. Love the Parliament Menthol Lights. So good. Camels too. Did Camel Lights for a while. Marble Lights
changed the world.
Camels were great cigarettes.
Once I found Camels, I was like, oh, I love cigarettes.
Dude, you were never, dude, it is legit. You're never fucking cooler than when you're fucking smoking, you're done, you flick it. You are the baddest fucking dude in the world. Like,
it's Camels that go fuck your mother. Camels are the best cigarettes.
Camels are a great smoke. Yeah. Shout out cigarettes. Fan of the show, listen to the show. So, all right. So either way, you finish up.
Yeah. So we would do that. We were cleaning up the dormitory. But like, I mean, the fondest memories, we'd buy 5 packs of cigarettes every morning. And on the way home, him and a guy who like, now that I'm looking back, like, when you see a person who just lives so goddamn hard, you assume they're 78 and still working. Like that's normal. There was a guy named Jim who might've been 58 or 62, but looked like the crypt keeper. Yeah. That was this other guy's partner in crime. And every day on the way home, they'd pick up a 12-pack of Budweiser, set it right inside their center console that had nothing else in it but room for beers, just rip beers. And I'd sit laying down in the back of the work van, a seatbelt, just like, all right, well, I'm not going to sit up the whole time. I put my ear pods in, lay back, pray for the best.
Yeah.
And that was why did
your iPod shuffle. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, okay. Very cool. So let's keep moving. So then from there, you stuck in like the construction kind of game, but you would do, you did restoration on a house that was built in the 1700s in Bluebell. Right. And this is like, so on the East Coast, this is like an East Coast thing. So for our international listeners, and for our, our Canadian following and the West Coast, and shout out Mozambique, Jdub.
Big in Mozambique.
Massive in Mozambique. But either way, like in our area, there's a lot of like old historical houses that were built in the 1700s when, before even the country was founded in some cases, like, that predate Revolutionary War. So those houses, they need to be upkept for historical reasons, things like that. So you're working on a house that you're doing restoration to a house that was built in the 1700s. So how did you get this? What were you learning there? How did it go?
So this was a sick experience. And the guy who I worked with at Widener University set me up with a buddy of his. Okay. So this guy was essentially a master of all trades.
Okay.
And he had bought a property where the original house was literally like stone slabbed together, like uneven stone, just filled in with mortar, but like just rocks into a square, high enough house. So that was the 1700s part of it. And then they had built like a more updated, recent version of a house connected to it. So that summer, I essentially helped him make that 1700s slab of stone and mortar livable.
Oh.
It was a sick job. It was, he paid me cash every single week. He would just play Howard Stern all day long.
Love it.
And like literally took like a room that was maybe 16 feet high. We split it in half. He rented cranes and had the lumber to like build like the base support for a second floor.
Nice.
We built the staircase going up to it, the flooring on the second floor.
Yeah.
He knew how to do the electric work, the plumbing work, the HVAC. It's like, it was unbelievable. The guy,
he's a legit master craftsman.
If you gave him time and resources, he will build you a functioning house. And you could live in it, and you'd be like, everything works.
Dude, I fucking wish, dude. I really wish like I had those type of skills. That's like, that shit is all like, he can legit think of something and then build it. That is fucking fascinating. You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible. That is an unbelievably incredible skill.
I could do
that.
Could you?
Yeah.
What? You're gonna think of a box? You're gonna build a box?
I mean, if you say build a house, I could figure it out.
You could figure it out, but there'd be a lot of fucking holes in it, and you wouldn't want to do the plumbing.
Wouldn't.
We grew up in a house that was built.
I wouldn't want to do the plumbing. It would be easier to do the plumbing though from scratch than to add plumbing.
Yes, that is 100% true. Because if you got to replace the old, it's a nightmare. But if you're starting from the beginning, it is much easier. Which is what I just dealt with my hot water here this week.
Oh,
we had to replace what the old person did because it was a nightmare. And then they just were like, "Hey, this is how it should be: 1 pipe, 2 pipe." I'm like, "Oh, that looks much better."
yeah, and works better. How about it?
But do you remember, Bradley? The house we grew up in was built in 1863 in North Wales, Pennsylvania, and all of our doorknobs at one point in time in the house were made of ivory because that's what fucking doorknobs were made out of. Yeah. And a guy came to the house one day and was like, "Hey, I'll give you $200 for every doorknob you'll give me." And so Mom came around and the guy gave us replacement like plastic ones for the ones that she was like willing to sell. And I still have one of the doorknobs to this day.
Oh, you got the original now?
I still have the one from the backside of my door.
Oh,
his house in Hatfield. But a guy came around and was like, "Hey, I'll buy your ivory doorknobs."
Wow.
My mom was like, "No." And then he was like, "I'll give you $100 a doorknob." My mom was like, "Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. We don't need these shitty.
I have 19 doorknobs for you.
They looked like two like keys that would fit into each other.
You'd
have the knob and a long handle, and then a knob and a shorter handle, and then just lock in. It's like they came right apart. I know.
We had a single key. So other than our front door, which was replaced by my father, like back in the day, all of the other keys and locks in the house was a single key because the house was built in 1863. Like our basement, our back door, all the bedrooms could be unlocked and locked with a single key. And it hung like on our back door. And there was only 2 copies of it. And one of them fell down a vent and we had one for the rest of time.
Well, so like the key like looks because it was built
just 2
in
teeth.
1863. It was like an old school like metallic key. It's nothing you could like. You can't take it to Home Depot and replicate it. It literally looks like something you would like use to open like a crypt cage or something.
Yeah,
and
we had
it
the
was
same
like once we
things.
found out, it's like we can use this on all of these doors. Yeah. And then we would just lock everything in the house. It was very fun.
We had skeleton keys at our mom's house for a while too, which they were annoying.
It's cool.
Yeah, but what are you gonna
sick?
Do? Yeah, they were all right. But so let's keep moving then. So you would leave the house restoration job and you would work as a bartender at the Philly Cricket Club with a man who will not be named. All right. This guy is not a fan of the show. He's not a listener of the show. He big timed the fucking show. He thinks he's too good for the goddamn show. No one's too good for the goddamn show except for Chris Stefano apparently, and Double J Jeff Jarrett, and Jordan Grace, and whoever else I've reached out to. But either way, yeah, very much so. So either way, you're working at the Philly Cricket Club. How did that go? How'd you like it? What was going on?
That was a sick job. So that only lasted a summer. Okay. But the ins and outs of it, basically, it's a prestigious and beautiful golf course. Right. So between like working within like the restaurant itself, where the course members would come in and order their lunches or whatever, it's typical waiting tables works.
Yeah.
Other times you would be working and prepping for like golf course events, which means they give you a golf cart, a set of keys to the shed, which is locked and loaded with all of the Gatorade, all of the beer, all of the snacks that you could ever like dream of. Like you open up this shed and you're just like, it's a little mini Costco. Like every thieving bone in your body's like, good fucking God.
Yeah.
But it was part of the job because you would set it up. We drive out there, set up the table, fill up the coolers, beer's here, water's here, Gatorade's there, here's your snacks, here's hanging out. And like basically like working in the summer, very, very low supervision, working on a beautiful golf course. It was sick.
And you would run into some big shots, huh?
Every once in a while. Now, the boss of that place, so I had gotten there through a connection of a friend who had worked there for a while. And the weekend before, I was at a concert where I got hit in the back of the head by an older man who I in turn, basically my girlfriend stumbled over his feet when he was like sitting down in a place he should be standing, and he called her a fucking bitch. I was like, take it easy, man. Kept moving. Needless to say, it was a Deftones and Foo Fighters show. I get punched in the back of the head. I got punched in the back of the head. Turn around, and I hit a guy who was easily 20 to 30 years older than me. I didn't care.
Right.
And his son comes up, will you hit my fucking dad? And I punched him in the face. He clocks me back. It's only worth bringing up because I punched a father and son in the same night.
And they're here right now. Welcome on.
It felt good. I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah.
But needless to say, so I had some scraps on me. I mean, I got hit.
Yeah.
So I had like a little cut on my eyebrow. I went into the interview and I got like a scratch here, like a little bit of bruising under my eye, longer hair, like even like a beard about this length.
Sure.
And the guy who runs the show, who we affectionately called Minkus, because he was just completely type A, such a nerd, just like, and he hated me because I'm none of that, which is fair.
Sure.
He would do everything in his power to keep me away from the paying golf members,
right?
which was hilarious. So, but I go in my interview for that. He would always, he said it was too wrinkly, which at a certain point, like I'm not spending time like ironing. Remember I came into work one day and he's like, what did you roll down the hill to get here? And that was the coolest thing he ever said, actually, because that was hilarious.
Yeah.
So basically, so there's the main course, and then they set up a satellite course called Militia Hill at that place, and they would have me run that. They would have me run that course, which was great. To work completely by myself, as like as the guests would come in, and that's where you would find golfers who aren't members of the club.
Okay.
Which, if you're bartending at a golf club, that's who you want, because the members of the club pay their dues. So like the tips that you get are going to be very basic and very flat.
Yeah.
But if golfers come in from a club that don't have a membership at your place, they're dropping 10s on a drink, 20s on a drink. They're getting hammered. You just pour them in a couple extra shots. There's $100.
Yeah.
You make a ton of money there. It was fantastic.
Nice. You would run into some stars there too, also, right?
That is correct. Shane Victorino, met the Flying Hawaiian there.
Love it.
That was very exciting. He was nice and polite. I kept it short and sweet.
Yeah.
And then Rob McElhenney has like has a foundation he works with that I can't quite remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But they set up a golf course at the Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Nice.
Ito showed up. Caitlin Olsen showed up.
Nice.
No Charlie. No Glenn.
Nah.
Excuse me.
What are you gonna do? So either way, let's keep moving. So you would leave the cricket club, and then you, for a summer, this was the most physically taxing job you ever had. You were a mason at an elementary school. Is that right?
That's right. So my uncle was the foreman as a union mason.
Okay.
I needed some work. He offered help. So I'm like 19 or something at this point, making $21.50 an hour. Like, hell yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a sick job, but it was kind of the most bland summer of my life, because I'd be up at 4 and in bed at 8, like up far before the sunrise. And like, I couldn't stay awake until the sun set. Like, it was very odd being that young and like coming back from Temple and just like madness and like partying, and then being like, it's broad daylight, I can hear kids playing, and I'm like, I'm fucking done for the day.
Yeah. And you're just getting like best shape of your life, and all you're doing is eating, working, sleeping, and whacking, and that's just your whole life at this point.
I mean, that was essentially it. And like the job is like just keep the Masons fed. So my first day out there, it was like a cold, windy day. I'd never been on scaffolding before.
Yeah. So
I never really had much of an issue with heights, but like, you know, when it gets a little sketchy, be like, all right, let's pay attention here. So it's Reading Elementary. It's 4 stories up.
Okay.
They've got the scaffolding set up. I climb up. I'm working with these 2 masons I've never been with before, and they do the pass me that toolbox over there.
Okay.
No problem. Let me grab it. And it's one of those clasp from the top toolboxes, which they had left open. So when I grab it from the handle on the top,
like the lid, you're saying like the lid's the top, and you grab the handle from the top.
Fold it over, and then it's got those little locks on the top. They left it open. Pass me that. No problem. So as I pick it up, the whole box opens. Drop all the tools down. So
did they do it on purpose? Did they know?
Very, very possible.
Yeah.
So I just went down, cleaned everything up, climbed up, put it back. They also sent me looking for sky hooks.
Is that a thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm working in the air, right?
Yeah.
I'm working on scaffolding. And he's like, yeah, I need some sky hooks. No problem. Go see Jeff. Jeff, need those sky hooks. Oh, yeah. Bob's got them. Bob, where are these sky hooks? And then eventually it's just a little haze and shit.
Right. We had
just send me running around.
I remember when we had Alan Bach on the show. He's we had talked about the job site, and he'd brought up this thing. I remember he showed me where like the older guys at the job had set up this thing. He's an electrician, had set up this thing where it was like a circle, and they made marks in a circle, and the dude had to stand in the middle of the circle, and they'd put like fake wires into the ground, and this guy's holding like a calculator, And he's like, all right, this is going to give me readings. I need you to sledgehammer in a circle on these spots so I can get the readings for the whatever. Dude, this kid, like, legit for, like, he's like, look, and if you slow down, you got to start again. They made this poor fucking kid, like, sledgehammer, like, a gravel ground in a circle for, like, 10 minutes. And this guy, like, dude, he did some work, but the kid's like, oh, my God. Right. And the guys are all standing there like, oh, my God, this fucking idiot. Yeah. So, no, that's like, but that's like just part of being on the job kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, breaking it in.
Yeah. So nice. All right. So good. Glad you got some of that blue collar shit in you. I want to keep it moving. So after this, you would kind of transition back into the restaurant world, and you would work at a hibachi restaurant, right? And not only are you learning you're seeing the great art of hibachi, but you're learning a couple other skills as well that would come in handy. So talk to us about, because it seems like a lot of pranking going down, a lot of pranking, a lot of stanking, a lot of thanking going down at the hibachi.
Yeah, that's right. That was one of the most fun jobs. Great group of people. Everyone got along great. We worked together well. We'd hang out together well, and we just always come up with games to entertain ourselves as we were working.
Yeah.
So it started with pickpocketing. So we would wear extremely long aprons. Because it was a Japanese themed restaurant. So we'd wear like a kind of like a karate gi shirt, which I always thought was tough. But then you put on like the dress apron and I'm like, man, this sucks.
You look like a total strunza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, we would keep like our checkbooks in the apron or whatever. So the game would start just by stealing it and hiding it. So I go to the table. Hey, Matt, how's it going tonight? What can I get for you? I reach in my pocket. I have no checkbook.
Shit.
I guess I'm going to have to remember this order. It wasn't the end of the world.
Right. But you're like, they got me.
So then the game evolved because we all eventually got pretty, like, stealing the book very, very easy at a certain time. Then the real game was like, can I put the book back into their apron? Ooh. So you steal the book, draw horrendous pictures, or you write like right on the first page, like, hey, fuck you. You fucking suck.
Yeah.
This person at your table has a lazy eye. Don't look at it. Like you leave like notes to people, but then if you can sneak it back in, you go to the table. Hey, how's it going? What's that I can get for you? And then you're looking at something. You just like immediately close the book because sometimes like you'd be amazed at like the artistry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can.
You're like, jeez, like okay.
Whoa, baby. Yeah. You're like, is that a tunnel? No.
Eventually we would take the pranks from like around each other and then put it on other members of the staff. So there was a bunch of like the hibachi chefs, as you bring up. Cool dudes, ton of energy. They would make like way more money than the rest of us. So we always had like a little bit of sure. Fuck these guys.
Professional jealousy. Yeah.
But they put on a great show, flipping everything around. And like the highlight of their show was when they're starting to cook up the fried rice for everybody.
Fried rice.
So everything's sizzling around. And then like they'll take an egg, flip it up in the air, hold the spatula steady, and let the egg crack right on the spatula. Sizzles out, crowd goes nuts. They can like
draw stuff with it. Yeah, they're doing the whole thing. Yeah, it was
the big stop of the show.
Yeah, before they did the onion volcano and all that. This was a big hit. Yeah.
Ooh, onion volcano was popular too.
Yeah, but the egg sets it off. Yeah, so they have the egg.
It was the shit. So we would grab like 6 eggs and hard boil them, and then disperse them into the chef's carts and mix them up. We would have no idea who had it, when it would happen, but it made every flip so exciting. Like, is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be it?
Yeah.
And then when you watch the chef's face, throws it up, it just hits and it just goes. Like, it just hits like a rock, falls over, and then he's like, fuck just happened? It was the best. Then we'd all just lose it. It was silly fun times.
That's kind of great. Like if I was at a table, I would actually love that. I'd be like that. Like if they tell you like, oh, they got me, this is the joke. You know, I think like I would be like, that's fucking hilarious.
What accent was that, Matt, that they were speaking in? Oh, they got me. This is the joke.
It's they're all Canadian, Tom. They're all Canadian.
Everyone.
It's a Canadian.
This is the joke.
Hibachi's classically Canadian. What were you gonna say, Justin?
I was gonna say this is around the time me and you actually start. So from Pizza Hut up until now, me and Brad have seen each other 2 times a year. We don't really talk. We don't see each other very much. Sure. And then, are you still at Temple when you're at Hibachi, or are you done Temple?
Done Temple.
Because like your last like couple weeks, like you were like 3 weeks out of Temple. We saw each other, and I was like, you're 22, I'm probably 25, and we're like at Christmas one year talking. And I was like, oh, I don't hate you anymore. I would like to see, like, you're telling me stories about what has been happening all these years, and I'm like, I would like to hear more. Like, I've never heard like some of the Pizza Hut stories and stuff. I'm like, I would like to hear more. What you've been up with the Roy Lomas? Like, I know the guy he was working for, but I didn't know he was working for him. And I was like, that guy's a piece of shit. He's like, oh, not only is he a piece of shit, he smokes 5 packs of cigarettes a day. I was like, tell me more. I am now intrigued in your life.
Yeah. Nice. So you guys have kind of rekindled. So let's take it up
around this time. Yeah.
Yeah. So then let's keep it moving, because then after that, you would start bartending / waiter at a place in Doylestown. And Justin, you've brought this up before on the show, where you would go visit him at this place a bunch.
So Brad, Brad goes to live with my father. I'm 3 years older. He's living with my father. He goes to Temple. I leave high school. I start dating a girl. We're together for like 6 years and break up. Yeah. So at about around that time, Brad's living in Doylestown. I'm free and single. He's like, come hang out in Doylestown. I'm like, sure. I've never hung out with my brother I've never hung out with my brother before. He left before high school. And other than beating the shit out of him and the stories he's told me about the people he's worked with, I'm like, sure, let's go get drunk together. Yeah. He lives above a bar in Doylestown. He has a ping pong table in his living room. I'm like, this is fantastic.
When did this guy grow up? Yeah.
I was like, I love this kid.
Yeah.
We're coming here every weekend.
Yeah.
The R5 takes you right here.
Sure.
And a beautiful, like there's that whiskey bar that had happy hour from 11 to 12.
Yeah.
That would like cut all the whiskeys in half. Like, cause Brad would be worse. So I hit up Brad. I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, oh, come through. Like I got work till 11:30. My door's unlocked. So, I would just come up. I'd show up at his apartment, drop my bag off, go to a restaurant, have a drink and a meal, and then meet up with Brad when he's done work, hang out with his restaurant friends until 4:30. Like, it was awesome. Yeah. It was like because like I was, you know what I mean? It like brought me back to my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, the years you missed being in a relationship, you got them back. Yeah, I remember those days.
Scummy 22-year-old friends working in a restaurant until 3:30 in the morning, like just hanging on roofs and shit. Yeah, it was awesome.
Do you remember those days? Just like fucking not giving a shit. Oh, man, being able to party real fucking hard. Like
my savings account was literally in my sock drawer. Just walk home with so much money, and I'd be like,
there was
this much to spend tonight.
Dude, there was years I didn't touch a credit card or like a card at all, ATM credit, whatever. I didn't touch it for years because it was just cash all the time, like for everything, car payment. You know what I mean? Like I was setting up car payments because I was like, fuck, I need a bank account for this. What's going on? But yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. I miss those days, right? But like part of the reason I don't party anymore, because you can't fucking party hard because you'll fucking die. You know what I mean? Like, who can fucking do that now? You know what I'm saying? But back then we were fucking living it up to the fucking filter, babe. God, back when we could smoke. Oh, dude, that's one thing.
Smoking that
I miss
much?
it so
Jesus
fucking.
Christ,
dude. You have a couple.
Cigs are banging,
dude. You have a couple beers,
I miss it right
and
now.
then a fucking smoke. Come on.
It's 10 degrees outside. I'm not smoking on this shit.
I mean, dude, I would like smoking in the cold better. It felt good on the lungs. But, dude, I remember.
What's stopping you?
I don't feel like
children.
And
lung cancer,
dude, they're so expensive.
COPD, $10 a pack.
Yeah, like everything. Yeah.
The smell.
All the
shit.
It's dirty. It's disgusting.
Because it's
everything else.
Yeah. Other than smoking,
it's all bad
everything.
except for the part that is so good.
Yeah. So
overrated.
what was this place like? How did you like working there? What was the deal? How was Doylestown as a nightlife? Only ever been out in Doylestown nightlife a couple times. A lot of fucking yups, but yeah, other than that, not too bad. What did you think?
I mean, honestly, it was great because everything is so walkable. I mean, like my apartment was literally 3 blocks from my job. Nice. And like it was great because basically, you know, as I was bartending, all the restaurant people that I knew, because there was like a little strip there where basically you got like 6 main bars within, I mean, easily within a mile, if not like half a mile.
Okay.
So we would all just kind of like go to each other's bar. And it's like, if I'm serving, you come in, I'm like, I know you. I got you there. I got you there. I got you there. And then I get off my shift and I catch you working. And you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
And then it's like we would just all pass it down the line. I mean, like it all got along great. The yuppie vibe is very real.
Right. They're not all bad though.
I don't know how much I want to like expand on that, but
that's all right.
There's some
good and bad. But there's some that are okay, but there's some that are like go take a lap and kill yourself, right? Like there's some that are just awful. But no, I'm with you.
It's gonna be any.
But like,
true. That's also with the blue collars. That's also with the fucking whiskey tangos. It's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah.
I also found like in the long run, the nightlife kind of wraps up quickly because the place is so like isolated. It's this weird little snow globe.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like it's sort of like I've seen every corner of this island, and
you humped all over it.
You
humped every goddamn corner of that island. Well, because I'll tell you, those fucking lace curtain rich bitches, they love a fucking ginger coxman, a little rough around the edges, got a little scruff in his McGuff. Yeah, they fucking love them. So yeah, you were humping all over.
Either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You were both, baby.
R.I.P.
Victorino.
Yeah. So let's keep it moving. On that note, let's keep it moving. So we're coming to. So this leads us to where you're right now. So currently you're a sheet metal fabrication lead, right? So give me an idea. What's a day in the life like there? What's this job doing? Give me a shout. Help build the world around us, babe.
So I worked with former guest of the podcast, Mike Padilla. I've worked with on site. Yeah. In the field. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Great guy. Yeah. We worked in Malvern together at a Vanguard site. Cool dude. So basically, it's a company. It's a commercial sheet metal and plumbing. So my day to day is I'm now in the fabrication shop as opposed to installing everything in the field.
Okay.
So basically, we have to build it all, and in my department, it is basically designed to take as much of the installation and labor time of the field guys out of their hands. Everything. So if you have a giant run, ductwork kind of just looks like a spider web in the ceiling. You've got your main branches and it all kind of comes out. So our job is to take that and to break it down into transportable pieces. With as much installation set at the proper elevations, and get that done as possible.
So you kind of like you break it down. So it's like this is as close as we like. This is the most we can break it down where it's as close to being assembled, right? Like We're giving you the least amount of parts as possible, making assembly as easy as possible, and we're setting you up
installing as much as possible.
Yeah.
So when it comes out to you, you're not hanging piece by piece. You're hanging out a 12-foot branch, a 15-foot branch, and they basically put it in the air.
Fuck, dude, that's nuts.
So it's cool.
Yeah,
but it's sick because, like, you know, I had time installing myself,
right,
and I did enjoy it out there. But you know, that led me to the opportunity where I'm at now.
Did you have to go to school to learn how to do this, or how did you figure it out? On the job?
So I went through a 4-year apprenticeship program.
Nice.
Got my 4,000 and then some hours to earn like the mechanics license. So I am a licensed sheet metal installer.
Hell yeah.
You in the union? You in the fucking union? Is there
we're
a union?
Non-union company.
Is there a union though for your thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, local. Yes, definitely.
But you're not in the union. Screw your unions.
No,
hey,
I'm just kidding.
My career path works out.
We're pro-union on this podcast. Pro-union podcast. That's us.
And we're pro-non-union. We're pro.
Hey.
We're pro-communion on this podcast.
I like this guy.
So
and we're pro-union, the soccer team.
And we're pro-common law.
Yeah. And we're pro same-sex marriage.
And we're pro possibly eating another human being.
And we're
I mean, if it's consensual, eating another human being.
Yep. And we're pro
if they're an organ donor.
So, all right. So nice. So what's a day in the life like? Like, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? So when you go in, what do you got going on?
He's going to go in. He's going to hate his fucking job. He's going to slug some coffee, tell some yokels to do some stupid shit. Do it again the next. No, I'm sorry.
He's going to take a half.
No, we're done here. You just crushed it. We're done here.
No.
All right, wrap it up.
No, so what? So what do you got?
I nailed it, Matt. I nailed it.
He really did fucking crush it. I'm going to look at the expectations for the week that need to be fulfilled. I'm going to check in with the other department heads to see where they're at.
Yeah.
Find out what materials actually come to the right place.
Right.
What we can accomplish, put things in the right order, and set my boys up for success. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Fucking love it. That's why you're the fucking lead, baby. Nice.
Yo, can you drop this line on them maybe one time? Like maybe they're not reaching expectations, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? I'd be better off selling ivory door handles than doing this shit.
Nice. So
how much would an ivory door handle be worth today?
Dude, I remember I don't know.
I mean, you getting 1,000 a door handle now? Because I mean, if it was 100 back then,
what that guy was doing was illegal. I remember my mom coming to me and saying, like, we're taking the doorknobs. You can't tell anyone we're taking the doorknobs between like you and me, you know, we don't tell anybody.
Tell your lunch lady. Okay. Well, this stays between us.
How but who?
Because this is 1992.
But doesn't she own the house?
She owns the house, but you can't sell ivory. It's illegal to sell ivory. It's been illegal since 1983.
Hold on a second. I think it's illegal to sell like fresh ivory. You can't.
You're not. But there is no
elephant. There is no sell the ivory.
There is no legal.
If the ivory's already there.
Yeah, but there is no legal market to sell ivory. Like if you have a bunch of ivory, there's no
selling it on the ivory market.
Hey, I mean, I know the elephant's already dead, but I have a bunch of doorknob. You know what I mean? I remember her coming. I mean, I think it was 1992. I don't know. It was before Mike Bull had moved in, and I remember her coming around and being like, we're going to take a couple of these. And I was like, okay. But she's like, you don't tell anybody that we sold a couple of these. I was like, okay.
Unless it's on your friend's podcast.
You still have one, right?
I took the back of my door and threw it in a Rubbermaid. And I still have it. It's at mom's house now in the basement.
Oh, I want to see it.
I'm going to bring it.
Bring it. I'll buy it from you.
No, it's ivory. I've kept it my whole life.
Next thing you know, you're in an alley selling the ivory handle. Next thing you know, cops come, we've been on to you for all these. We've got him. The door handle smuggler.
He's the ivory bandit.
Yeah. You've been tickling ivory for years, and now we're on to you.
Yeah, dude, the piano business must have gone shits up when the ivory market crapped out, right? Like, oh man,
that's when they come knocking at our door.
Yeah. Literally, you motherfucker, you. Nice.
And the window panes, Mom would always freak out if we ever broke a window because the window panes were from 1862. Like they weren't, they didn't have windows like that anymore. Like if you broke a window, you had to replace the whole window because like they were panes built into slotted wood. Like they were rope string drawn.
Giant rope.
It was slowly.
It was clunky as fuck.
Dude, that sounds like a real pain in the ass, huh?
Oh,
boom. The kid still got it. So, so, all right. So we're coming to the top of time. Usually Justin, Tom, me, we're all on the same page usually about this, but Brad, love to have you back on the show if you'd be willing to come back on.
Fantastic. It's always a great time.
Yeah.
I've had fun.
No, you've been killing it each time. We really were all over the place in this fucking thing. Really love this discussion though, because we got some good shit in. Talked about some stuff that needed to be talked about, maybe some stuff that didn't. Gonna have to cut some things to save my marriage on this show. But no, it was really, yeah, dude, this was a great fucking episode. I knew it was gonna be like going into it. I knew this was gonna be good. But before we get out of here, young Bradley, is there anything you'd like to say to the legions of the young Bradley faithful before we rowdy 5,000?
All right, I wasn't picking on the albino.
Oh, okay. So this is a reference to a joke Justin made on a previous show.
Yes,
where Justin said that one time you were camping and that Brad never got to pick on anybody, but then you're camping one time and Brad, you hear like a ruckus and you go over and you see Brad just destroying this poor albino kid. And you're like, what the fuck? Why are you picking on this? He's like, you guys pick on me all the time. He's like, yeah, you have red hair. All right. This guy's eyes are fucking purple. Like what,
This kid's made of ivory.
Yeah. So go ahead. Give us your version of the story there, young Brad.
So our uncle decides to like buy a trailer in the middle of the mountains. And our mom's like, let's go check out the camper. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be trash. So we go with our other brother, and the two of them being older than me completely abandon me first chance they can. So now I'm wandering around a trailer park completely alone, have no idea what to do, like kicking rocks. And then 3 brothers show up, one of which happened to be albino. But they just start ripping albino. Yeah.
And you just start ripping them to shreds.
Well, I'm like, who's this ginger city folk? And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm getting like torn apart by these 3 kids, and I'm talking shit one at a time. Fuck you, no teeth. Fuck you, uneducated. And you're fucking paler than me, you piece of shit. And then Justin and another brother come showing up like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing?
I'm fucking roasting these pussies. Get in on this. Come on. I'm roasting this guy like a marshmallow.
You just walked. Walked in on me talking to the albino. You didn't see the other shit.
So, well, still, nonetheless.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
So, I'm very pro albino. So all the albino listeners of Working Perspectives, Bradley loves you.
Yeah.
Powder's his favorite movie.
Goddamn right.
Yeah. So nice. Yep. So very cool. So shout out albinos everywhere. Fans of the show, listen to the show. Captain Jerkbeard, anything you'd want to say to the legions of your adoring fans before we get out of here?
Thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your time, whether it be day, night, or afternoon.
Your limited time.
Have
fleeting
time.
Yeah, we don't know
time
when
is
or
really
where.
The greatest currency. You know, how much time would I give to have some of those ivory handles? I don't know.
I don't know. Nice. So very cool.
Time.
Thanks for that.
200 time.
Jalen.
Oh, by the way, I did Jdub. I don't know if it's because you're always wearing a hat or what. Did you get a haircut? You're looking
Yeah,
fresh.
he did.
You're
He
looking
looks
clean.
great. He looks great.
Good, dude.
He looks great.
If you know, so I mean,
His head's
as
so
you've
much
seen me on this
smaller.
podcast,
How much
this whole
ivory
time,
did that haircut cost you?
It's 1.25 ivories.
2 grams of ivory.
As you see me on this podcast, I've had a hat on the whole time since
Yeah.
the podcast has started. My hair was almost down to my eyes when I got.
Did
shaved
Rachel
off.
cut your hair?
Do you know Rachel from Summit?
I work with her.
Get the fuck out of here!
Oh,
I
yeah.
only text her in the morning of the day I want a haircut, and I go, "Can you cut my hair today in 45 minutes?" And she goes, "No, I'm working." And then I go get a cut somewhere random. But I do text her every time I need a haircut, and she does a fantastic job. And I like petting her pig.
Yeah, that's funny. She has.
Don't you have a girlfriend?
I do, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
allowed
a
to pet
euphemism.
Rachel's
So
pig.
you're just petting pigs all over the
Yep.
place?
You're just
Yeah.
petting pigs.
It's
Huh?
cool
You're
with
just
it.
petting this girl's pig. So, all right. Either way.
Pig petter.
Well, yeah.
Pig
Shout
petter.
out. Shout out Jdub. Your hair looks great. And on that note, Jdub, is there anything
just
you'd like to say to the fans before we take off?
The kid has to come back because we could just do a whole episode of my top 10 favorite Brad stories, which I haven't even touched on because I wanted the kid to tell his own story. But I have this kid falling off the boardwalk on a bicycle. I have him leaving remember the Circus Family comic when we were kids in the newspaper where it would show the kid with the dotted line showing where he explored throughout the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You remember that Sunday comic?
Yeah.
Brad did that with Cheese Whiz one time from 7-Eleven, from his car into his house all the way to his bedroom. Cheese Whiz just throughout the house in a comical way. I have
Love it.
I have so many. I could give you 4 hours of Brad hurting himself. Brad one time got stuck upside down at a restaurant on chairs and had to have the table removed from the wall to get him up.
Wow,
one
my
time,
dad was hitting me for getting stuck.
Oh, all of this while being punched by an adult. One time we ate pizza together and he had pizza on his hat. And I just wanted to know how it got there. And he got so upset that I was being mean to him. But I was like, no, you have it on your hat. It's above your mouth. You got on your head.
I think everyone knows that you don't question a man's pizza on his hat. That's
I have been in, I don't know. I've been in a lot of
Call it
fights
topping.
in my life. The only person who's ever knocked me out my whole life is one and only Brad Richardson. The only person that ever put me out, like blacked me out. Brad Richardson.
How old were you when this happened?
He used the office chair. He snuck me when I came around the corner, and it had the 4 metal prong legs, like a heavy office metal chair. And it caught me under the chin, and I stumbled in my bedroom, like kneeling position, and I blacked out on my bed. He woke me up, and he was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, I was friendly. I was like, "What are we doing?" And he was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Nothing happened. You're here. We're both having a good time together.
It's
Loving
amazing.
each other."
Yeah.
Look at this
Nice.
cheese.
Well, I guess now you have 5 stories left because you just gave 5 of them away.
Those are 5. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. The eating on the stairs went on for years. Alone, we just made this boy eat alone on the stairs because he would not.
Lots of basement dining.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Well, good. Well, I can't wait to hear him the next time he's on. And
it'll be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Mozambique, Justin.
I'm a big Mozambique affiliate, associate, supporter, and one love.
One love, Mozambique. Fan of the show. Listen to the show. So nice. Well, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by Jdub, Justin Richardson, Captain Jerkbeard, Tom Lavelle, and our guest today was the one and only young Bradley, Brad Richardson. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe so the world doesn't crumble around me. All right. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See you. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.